Good afternoon and welcome to Flat Earth Debate with me, Nathan Oakley. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you're new to me, Nathan Oakley, check the link in the info box to see my main channel, Nathan Oakley 1980. If you would like to join the debate and thrash it out with flat earthers or globe earthers, obviously depending on which side of the fence you sit, then there is a link to join the live stream in the info box below, and I will periodically put it into the chat feed. So if you would like to join the show, click on that link and you'll be free, currently at least, to present your views completely unopposed. So for the time being, I'm going to transition across. There are a few people who are there, so I'll transition across to that and then bring up my photographs just while we wait for a few people to actually join the stream. There may be periods of dead air during these early parts of these debate broadcasts. So if you do join the show, make sure you give me a shout. I'll have my loudspeaker on so I can hear you while I mull around in the background. But for the time being, let's actually put my camera on in the live view. That works, hopefully so. There we go. So yes, if you do join the live feed, I may or may not have my camera on, but just give me a shout. If I'm somewhere else in the room, I'll actually hear you. Let's just show that that is actually working. There we go. So yes, I'll disappear for a few moments and share the link to this live feed on Facebook and Twitter and on my various other social media platforms. If you could do the same, if you are currently in the live feed, just check out a link on Facebook or Twitter, invite your friends to join the show or just join the chat. It is being broadcast, as you can probably see now, on screen. So that's probably enough plugging of the show from me. Hopefully you may not hear from me again if we do get a couple of participants before I rejoin. So I'll leave you in the good company of the Guess the Movie slides. Looks like we have a guest. Is that Mr. Grimm? We have a guest.
Hey, Nathan.
Hello. Let's just cross. There we go. Mike's all yours.
Sorry about that. I think we might have both had a window open.
Yeah. I was at it for when I was making coffee. I had it on the iPad just in case somebody jumps in. But yeah.
Yeah, was that yesterday? Yesterday was fun.
It was good fun. It's a shame about getting porn bombed, but I talked about it in the show after. I hadn't intended to just do another show, but then I thought about it and thought, well, if somebody's porn bombed you and then you just stop, it looks like, oh, well, I've got the best of him. So I thought, well, it might only take me 10 minutes. I'll just set it back up again and then just start and do another one, although I didn't really want to, if I'm honest. But I thought it just sort of shows the audience, look, it's just going to continue. It doesn't matter if you porn bomb me. I'll just do exactly the same thing every time. Hopefully it'll be less likely to happen this time because there's a few measures I've put in place. But, you know, go ahead. I don't care. That's why it's on the backup channel.
Always got somebody who's going to be immature no matter what. Out in the playground arena here.
But they're welcome. You know, there's other people. The sock of Jamie Brown came on with his voice samples of Jamie Brown. And the first time I did it, it was very, very funny, although I've seen it 20 times. But then he came in during a decent conversation. It's like, sod off. This isn't the time. Come in during when there's no one else talking and there's nothing interesting going on, and I'll let it fly. Same with Tim Osmond. He came in with a guy who got like a scammer, and it'd obviously taken him 20 minutes to get this scammer on the hook. And then another guy in the chat was like, boot him. It's like, shut up. Just let him have his moment. It's 2 minutes. God's sake.
Yeah, you get that a lot. I think it's it's just people that really can't, they might believe that they're right, but they don't really understand how to make their argument sound really valid or whatever. So usually they'll rather plead to you to the channel, whatever the topic is about. It doesn't even have to be flat earth. They'll plead to ban the opposing conversation. Just ban it. Even if they're not being rude or whatever. They'll even try to pickpoke them, and be rude so that they will be rude so they can see, that's all they do. Oh, but that's a weak argument. That's that plead to your emotions argument. So yeah, I'm just stating the obvious. We all know this shit. So I'm just getting up, waiting for a couple of people to hop on, fire up a conversation. I thought it was interesting. We were able to talk without having a lot of animosities.
I do have a question for you, because maybe it's just that I didn't understand when you showed it. But when you did your electromagnetic field with a ball bearing in the middle, was that to explain, because your model or your world is different to most people's. I mean, I don't know if people
it's
watching
not the standard model, so
exactly, you've got a different model. So obviously in the heliocentric model, you've got Earth projecting out an electromagnetic field. Well, obviously in your demonstration, you're putting the electromagnetic field onto the ball from external forces. Is that a translation to what your model is, or what? Or
that's clear. That's about as clear as you can put it in simple terms. Externally fueled, by the galactic currents. The sun is fueled by the galactic. We can actually visualize. We can see these currents, measure them, and we know it's happening. So I mean, the sun is being fueled externally by electric currents. I mean, that's why it's hotter on the photosphere or the corona than inside. That's why it rotates the way it does. That's why it's perfectly round, like it is. There's so many different. That's why the ions speed up as they move away, because only the EM fields can accelerate. The so-called solar wind. Magnetism doesn't do it. Electricity has to do it. So there's so many different things that are in the standard model that are not explained by their stupid model, that I'd be a flat earther too if I didn't know the other stuff. You know what I mean? If I didn't know that there was another very valid field of investigating to take a course to take, to investigate, I wouldn't, I would start falling for stuff or, not falling for stuff, but just looking for stuff. I'd be out there, wondering too, you know what I mean? Because I'd be fighting the gravity theories and because I don't believe in gravity theories at all. I mean, especially the gravity alone ruling the cosmos, made out of what? Fabric of space and time. That's the hilarious shit right there. Like, point me in the direction of time. Where's the physical attributes of space? You know what I mean? Why are you calling it a fabric? So it's just kind of like baloney to me, especially when we see that the observations alone falsify the theory. And there's thousands of observations that falsify Big Bang and whatever, black holes and all this kind of shit. So
I've been joined by Lewis Hackett.
Good to have that other side of the argument.
Thank you for being here, Lewis.
Going
Good
on
to see you.
EM now.
What's up, Louie?
Not much.
Louie.
I'm gonna try and argue your misconceptions about electromagnetism. Although I don't think I quite.
You probably shouldn't. Yeah,
I don't think I have the vocabulary for it.
You probably shouldn't try.
Well, I'm gonna. That's why I'm here. So you said gravity isn't good enough. I mean,
no, I didn't say that. I said that gravity theory alone does not explain observations that falsify gravity theory.
Like what?
Once it's falsified, it's falsified. I mean, you can't just say, "Oh well, let me write some dark matter math up in here and try to ad hoc it."
Right, and no, I would agree that the presence of dark matter, an error in our math that is so large, like 99% of stuff. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, and but we don't have something to replace gravity with. So I mean, why not? What's wrong?
What do you mean we who?
Scientific community. Like what would you propose instead
some
of
people
gravity?
in the scientific community actually they do have. That's the point we're trying to make here.
Right. So what is it? What is the replacement for the theory of
It's
gravity?
a dipole on the subatomic particle. It's an EM field, but it's on the subatomic particle. That's why it's the weaker force. It doesn't act on the larger atomic, atoms. It acts on their subatomic particles.
I mean, but we don't have. Well, I guess we did find the Higgs boson, and that was kind of
still falls at 32 foot per second square.
Right.
It's just it doesn't reach through. What is it? It's not strong enough to actually do all of the organizing of the matter that we see alone. That's all we're saying. In the electric universe,
it's operating on
in the electric universe, the plasma that's out there, we actually, since we know the behaviors of plasma and how it can hold a charge and how it's a conductor of electricity and how magnetic fields passing through it can cause induction, conduct electricity. So there's all sorts of things that we know about plasma that we never applied to space because by decree, just somebody said, there's no plasma out there. There's no medium for those type of interactions. So we'll rule those interactions out in our theory and use gravitational theory alone.
Well,
now that we know that plasma is there, so that the medium for those electrical interactions are there, we actually can't just responsibly rule it out anymore and use the dogmatic ancient theories that predicted there would be none of those interactions capable.
No, those ancient theories didn't predict that there would be none. They predicted things that weren't the plasma. That's not predicting not plasma. It's predicting something else that isn't plasma. Might not sound very different, but
but now we know it's plasma. We have the measurements. Yeah, we measured it.
Something else. Why is plasma how does that help? To me, it seems like you'd have to discover the nature of subatomic particles so that you could make predictions about the nature of gravity and these other forces, the subatomic forces, which I don't see. How is plasma linked to that?
All right. So obviously plasma is a conductor of electricity, right?
Sure, it could be.
No, it is. It definitely is 100% a conductor of electricity.
Yes.
There's no plasma that doesn't conduct electricity. So yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm saying
it's just another state
it
of
might
matter.
not. The reason it's not clicking with you, Lewis, the reason it's not clicking with you is because you just don't understand plasma physics yet.
No,
that's what it is. Why are you making faces?
Because you're assuming things about me.
Egotistical.
You're assuming things about me. Of course, I'm going to get egotistical. You're starting to assume things about me.
Oh, I'm not assuming.
Yes, you are. You just said that this is what I think.
Right, and I'm not assuming because I literally just heard your last answer.
And what was wrong with
inductive.
it? How did I express that I don't understand plasma?
Excuse me, inducted. I just deducted that you don't understand much about plasma through the idea that you weren't sure if it even was a conductor of electricity. So
I said it was. What did you not hear?
You said it could be.
What is wrong with that? And then immediately after that, I said yes.
Well, couldn't it be?
What is your hiccup here, man?
Okay, I don't think I'm having a hiccup. Maybe we should brush our hair.
Maybe. I do need to brush my hair. Get some static charges in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought that's what the particle accelerators were for, so we could smash shit apart and look at how it interacts and discover what the smaller particles are and what their nature is.
Taking your money and telling you they need dark energy and dark matter, and then more money for that research.
Well, you said it yourself. You said it yourself that the force of gravity and dark matter are on the subatomic level. You said it yourself. So why wouldn't the next step to obviously be break down atomic particles?
Lewis, I never said dark matter had anything because dark matter doesn't exist.
Oh my God.
Again, your assumption.
You don't think dark matter exists?
Limited knowledge.
You understand it's just a placeholder for the missing force that gravity should be putting there, right?
Boring talking to people like that.
No. Well, I mean, might be boring.
They argue from, no offense, but ignorance, man.
No, I think you're arguing from ignorance, but I wouldn't really bring it up until I was 100%
prove
sure.
It to fucking anything to anybody, right?
Yeah, I'm not
literally not prove my argument.
I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand how plasma,
magnetohydrodynamic wave in plasma.
I'm trying to understand
magnetohydrodynamic wave.
Mr. Grimm, I'm going to wait for you to finish talking.
Thank you. People will learn more that way. So
are you sure?
If you're not familiar with the magnetohydrodynamic wave or Hannes-Alfvén or any of the things that we're talking about, there's no real reason to argue against the theory because you don't know the thesis in the first place. We all understand the antithesis.
What's the thesis? What's the thesis?
I already told you.
Tell me it again.
Pete and repeat. We're on a boat. Pete fell off. Who was left?
What's the thesis?
Pete and repeat. We're on a boat. Pete fell off. Who was left?
All right. Well, you're not entertaining this conversation.
How many different times have I told you about the EU theory?
What is the thesis?
How many different times have I told you?
What is the thesis?
That's my whole point.
What is the thesis?
Like I said, you don't know the thesis.
What is the thesis?
You're proving that you don't know the thesis, so why argue it?
Fix the problem. Enlighten me, Grimvy.
How about this, Lewis? Do me a favor. Since you want to argue the EU theory, why don't you tell us what the EU theory is first?
I don't. I'm trying to get you to tell me the thesis.
First thing you said when you got on here, though.
Because you haven't said anything yet.
The first thing you said you wanted to do, Louis, when you got here.
I said I wanted to take on your EM theory.
Right. I don't even know what that means.
Well, and me neither. That's why I said it that way. So what's the thesis?
What the fuck is an EM theory?
What's the thesis?
See, you're stuck on stupid. Sorry, Louis.
I'm asking you a question and you're not answering me. You're just like Issa.
Sure, buddy.
You could just tell me the thesis and then we can move on to the next part.
How many questions have you not answered?
I am not the one
holding know who Hannes-Alfvén is?
Knowledge here. I'm not the one holding the knowledge here.
Well, I thought you said you were.
No, I have an understanding which is
you just
separate.
Finished telling me, how do you know I don't know anything?
Just tell me the thesis or this conversation isn't going anywhere.
Retroductive logic. I've deducted that you do not know anything.
What's the thesis?
Dude, I'm not here to be your
What's
professor.
the thesis?
You don't know
So
how
why
to
are
argue
you here? So why are you here?
About
why are you here?
Why are you here? You don't even know why you're
Because
arguing.
I want to hear your thesis.
You don't even know what you're
I
arguing.
want to hear your thesis.
You came on here to
want
argue.
to hear your thesis.
And I gave you links to it. How many? Almost a year now.
Use
I've known
your
you and giving you links to
Use
it. So you
your
should know the
words.
thesis by now if you're coming here to argue with me
I
about
watched those videos, dude.
Sure you did.
Okay. You could just tell the thesis so that me and the audience and everybody can know what the thesis is instead of just pretending that everybody knows.
Well, that's not the point, really.
It is actually the point. It's actually the entire point.
Actually, no, that's your point.
Okay, well, then why are you here? What's your point?
The point is, the reason I asked you to learn the thesis, right, is so that you can argue
so
with
that we could have a conversation about it, right? Well, I'm asking you what the thesis is here and now.
You really got a big head, don't you, kiddo?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, slow it back a little bit, all right?
Yeah,
you're making
slow. It's going about at the perfect speed. Why don't you just tell me what the thesis is and we can move on to the next step? This isn't hard.
Yeah, because we've already done it. We've already done it maybe 100 times, Lewis.
Then it should be easy to do it one more time. It should be easy to do it one more time then. It should be real easy to do it one more time.
Yeah, okay. Well, the thesis is that it's electrically based and it organizing the structuring the orbits and dictating the spins and the drive of planets and bodies in space, and they're not gravitationally driven alone. That's the thesis, dude. Basically, sum it up in a nutshell. I'm gonna say it again.
So what about the planetary motions is improperly explained by gravity?
He doesn't actually know.
Yeah, again, that's almost everything about.
You don't know, do you? You don't know.
Okay, because gravity is supposed to be a much slower speed. What's the speed of anything? Light. The fastest speed in your theory, light. Right. So if gravity was not a real time connection to Earth, that means real time, like right now, to the sun. If it wasn't faster than light, if it took 8 seconds to find the Earth,
gravity waves travel at the speed of light.
You'd be thrown off. Yeah, you'd be thrown off of orbit. Excuse me.
Can you prove that?
My coffee.
Where's your math to prove that?
I don't see how any of that has to do with
math.
Yeah. Where's your proof? You made a claim.
Check out the Thunderbolts project.
No, you're the one who claims to understand
where the proof is. It's not my theory.
But you're a proponent of it.
So what?
So proponent.
Proponent, dog.
Yeah. I can make up words too.
That was actually a good one. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt and sell that shit.
Oh, you better give me royalties.
Too late.
So you don't understand this theory that you're talking about?
Actually, yeah. It's not really a theory. It's a hypothesis, for one.
Oh, so it's untested.
Right. Just like
great. Cool.
Everything else you got here.
No.
Oh,
you think the scientific theories are untested? Is that how they become theories then? Because they never get tested.
What I'm saying is your gravity theory is not a theory. Even the standard model of gravity. Yeah, it's not. It's not. Are you kidding? Have you grabbed a piece of the fabric of space and time and made a dress out of it or something?
It's where I reside.
No, it's an explanation and a false interpretation of an observation.
It may be incomplete. It may be wrong, but you are not supplying me with a better explanation.
Actually, we are.
Just say shit.
Actually, we are. That's the whole point here.
Well, I don't see how it's
a better explanation because gravity is too weak of a. Listen, it's a better explanation because gravity is much too weak of a force to rotate the galaxies the way that they rotate. So we know that that's not happening by gravity alone.
Well,
you have to add ad hocery, right, to the mix, dark energy or dark matter or any kind of invisible thing that no one can ever prove exists because it doesn't exist, right?
You mean like electricity?
Well, we already showed why those plasmoids actually behave the way they do in the laboratory. The galaxies, they're plasmoids. They're actually structured structures in plasma by the magnetic fields because of the current.
What current?
The electric current. Anything
What's called?
moving. Yeah, if you have a field,
Prove
if you
it.
have a plasma, can I answer the question? What current? I'll do that.
Yeah.
All right. So the current is inducted by any movement. Any body's moving through plasma, there's a current happening. So everything's out there moving in space. Everything's sitting in a sea of plasma. So everything is causing a current to happen. Imagine that. For a second.
Why are they moving?
So, like,
So where is the current? That's the question.
This is creating a current out there in space somewhere.
Actually, yeah. The funny thing is, he doesn't know that.
Okay,
Now
cool.
we know we're not dealing with physicists here.
Hmm.
Yeah, you just created an air current.
Oh,
Right, with your hands.
oh, that's electromagnetic, right?
Electrons are connected to the air, so you're moving electrons in a direction, which is where a current is. The flow of electrons.
What
Let's
did you
not be
get in
stupid about
physics
it, bro.
class?
Yeah, you could have actually converted that energy into electricity.
What did you get in physics in high school?
Straight A's.
Straight A's. Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Except for my last year of high school, where I got 9 unexcused absences. But I made
that
straight A's and
sucks.
shit on the test and everything.
I also made straight A's. I wonder where our misunderstandings are.
Well, you're still
Only in
stuck
physics.
on school.
Well, you're talking about a subject matter that is far beyond high school physics.
This isn't high school subject matter, bro. That's why.
Well, I mean, I remember
Brenda,
being in high school.
High five to Brenda just
and
now.
talking about this exact type of topic, and
I'm
the
sorry.
teacher,
dude.
the teacher drilled it into
I-
my head that my
I
understandings
never
were
heard of Hannes
incorrect.
Alfine or Halton Arp in high school, and I made straight A's in high school, dude.
Good.
You
What
heard
high
of
school
Hubble.
did you go to?
You heard of Hubble in high school, but
What high
Halton Arp,
school did you go to?
he was just as revered as Hubble. And Hannes Alfine, he won the Nobel Prize in 1970.
That's good.
So these guys you should have heard of, but you didn't because in high school, in general, you, not you personally, we all never really heard of them in high school unless we had a smart uncle or somebody who threw this information towards you. You know
Smart
what I mean? Or, I'm talking about my own personal case. Intelligent family members started showing me stuff back when I was a kid, so I could get a jump on the game.
Yeah. How's it helped you?
A lot. Have you not seen my houses?
How are you? What are you able to do?
What's wrong with you, dude?
Because of
I
the
do
EM?
well, man. Don't even try to pretend like the game has fucked me over.
I'm not. I'm just asking you. Like, what are you able to do that other people can't because they don't understand what you do?
I can actually. I live comfortably. What are you talking about?
So do I.
What can I do?
And I don't understand what you understand. So what am I missing? What can you do that I can't?
Ignorance is bliss. I don't know.
Oh, so it's just ignorance. All right, cool. Well, that's not really a useful thing. As long as I can predict the same number of things as you, it doesn't matter.
So you're asking for a philosophical answer to a question that is supposed to be,
Well, you haven't given me a practical answer, so what am I left with?
Well, the fact that you can't apply practicality to this isn't really my problem. It's like having a horse laugh at your joke. You can't. You can tell the horse the joke all day long, but when you expect it to laugh and get mad at it, it's your fault.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of my fault.
I guess so. Nay, nay.
We can't always know what you want or what you know, or I can't tell you, it's important to me because I love humanity and expect it to be as important to you because I don't know if you love humanity.
I don't. I don't. But I'll just say that
So it's
because
a
you're
whole
obviously
different-
trolling
it's
with
a
that question.
different
What kind of
reasons why we're
ridiculous
out here.
question is that?
Some people might appreciate the idea to knowing that their money is going to something that it literally has no reason to be going. There's no
That's fine.
reason for
You
your money to be
like,
going to dark energy and dark matter research when we already have those answers. And
we
there's
don't.
no-
What is the
But
answer?
we do
What is it?
though. Okay.
What is it?
You just don't. And
What is
a
it?
lot of other people, don't want it because look how
What
much
is it?
money they're going to have to say. We don't
Electricity
want.
you can't verify out there in the mass of space?
Yeah, we can actually. They're called
Oh,
baryons.
how do you do that? How do you do that? What
It's already
telemetry
been
do you
done,
use?
man.
What
Oh.
telemetry did you use?
Check this out, dude. Telemetry.
Yeah, let's check it out.
What trigonometry? Waited till the moon.
No. What's telemetry is a standard of measurement. Telemetry just means general measurement. There's nothing complicated about telemetry.
Trigonometry. You got to triangulate to find a ratio for the distances of any large bodies out there like that.
Astrophysics does that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
What's wrong with astrophysics as it exists?
That's literally that's not. Again, you're talking about, two different things. That's why I pointed that out.
Well, I see trigonometry being used in one way, and you seem to think it's going to be used in a different way. And I'm trying to bridge the gap.
It's used in all kinds of different ways. Are you kidding me?
So how are you going to use trigonometry to deduce that there are electromagnetic currents running around up there?
We don't need to.
If you're going to make the claim and be a proponent of the theory, sure you do.
No,
no, you already said it was a hypothesis.
You need trigonometry to build.
You already said it was a hypothesis.
To build the fucking machines.
Never mind. I don't even know what we're talking about. You said it was a hypothesis. We haven't even gotten through the testing phase. This isn't even worth talking about.
You need trigonometry to build the damn machines that we're using to detect the electromagnetic spectrum of the charged particles in space that are connecting these galaxies together on these large filaments that we can visualize because they do light up on the electromagnetic spectrum. So we can actually see these things,
ultraviolet light, that type of thing. We use trigonometry to make those. Okay.
No, why do you keep saying the word trigonometry right now? You're just throwing it in there.
No, you said that we use trigonometry to make the instruments to observe whatever you're talking about.
Only because you keep saying the word trigonometry. Why do we have to use the word trigonometry?
Well, I asked you what telemetry you use to deduce that there's electrical currents running around up there, because you obviously can't do it with your naked eye.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, why are you trying to make questions that don't have rational reasoning behind them?
They absolutely do. If you want to measure something that you can't, Grim, let me finish. If you want to,
what telemetry did you use?
If you want to measure things that you can't measure with your naked eye and your hands, you have to use some form of telemetry. It just means a measurement tool. That's all telemetry means. It's a general term that just means measuring with a tool.
Right. And I told you the telemetry involved would be in the machinery detecting the shit, didn't I?
No, you said you used trigonometry. Your answer was actually trigonometry. And then you started accusing me of using that word out of nowhere.
Yeah, you were actually. You want to rewind it?
Okay, cool. Well, I'm just unsatisfied here.
Yeah, me too. I don't even know why you're trying to do this crap, dude.
Well, I thought you might be able to give me an understanding of your world.
If you would like to join the debate, be sure to click on the info box below this video and you can join and challenge anything that is being said by the current people on this show. If you're new to this channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
None of us are that important.
Well, I know, but
So you can't back anything up. You can't back up any of your claims. You just state a bunch of nonsense. And then when you get challenged on it, you go launch into personal attacks and sidetracking and all kinds of bullshitting, and, in order to deflect and diffuse. You have nothing. You don't know anything. You just have a bunch of stuff that you memorized from some crank on the internet that you read.
Oh, really?
No, in his case, I think it was his uncle.
So you basically just said that everything I said, like Halton Arp and Hannes Alfvén and the kinetic wave and plasma that's been talked about by NASA, and they discovered it actually with their equipment, right?
Fire's plasma, and it doesn't react.
Right, so all of that, you just can't. You just can't come in and act like you're waving a magic gay wand, Brenda.
I don't dispute.
So I don't dispute. Tell somebody they're stupid and they didn't do anything. You just like re-editorialize this whole conversation in 3 seconds. You're cheap and you're lame.
So that's another tactic of yours is to launch into
the tactic of yours to come in and start
talking over people and not allowing for conversation.
And you have a rabbit with closed eyes who endlessly marches on.
Matter has just been finally found.
I don't care about that. Halton Arp was an astronomer.
The missing links between galaxies has finally been found. This is the first detection of roughly half the normal matter in our universe: protons, neutrons, and electrons, unaccounted for by previous observations of stars, galaxies, and other bright objects in space. You've probably heard about the hunt for dark matter, a mysterious substance thought to permeate the universe, the effects of which we can see through its gravitational pull, because they never talked about, what was it, a diffuse gas, filaments of hot diffuse gas, which would be plasma, right? But our models of the universe also say there should be about twice as much ordinary matter out there compared to what we've observed so far. Two separate teams found the missing matter made of particles called baryons rather than dark matter, linking galaxies together through filaments of hot diffuse gas. Okay, and I quote, "The missing baryon problem is solved," says Hideki Tanimura at the Institute of Space Astrophysics in Orsay, in France, leader of one of the groups. The other team was led by.
So why don't you provide us with the link to the text you're just reading?
Anna de Graaf at the University of Edinburgh.
So that we can evaluate. Could you give me a link to that, please? What you're reading?
So am I a fucking idiot, or is there a
could you give me a link to what you're reading, please?
Brenda asked for a link.
I don't care. Am I an idiot still, or is it possible? Right?
You can read. I want to know what it is you're reading.
Are you ready to double down on your last statement, though? You ready to put your money where your mouth is? Am I lying?
I never called you an idiot.
Yeah, we haven't called you any names.
I don't think
you're. I have no evidence. I don't think you're stupid.
Even though little.
I don't think you're stupid.
I don't think you're stupid. Conversation every single way he could.
I don't think you're stupid.
Right.
I think you're dishonest.
Oh, well, then, so you're saying I'm lying then?
No, I think you're
okay,
dishonest.
So let's make up your mind here real quick. What is it? Am I dishonest or am I stupid? Because you said both earlier. And
well,
now
I don't think
I'm dishonest, but now you're backtracking on that. Right?
Never said you were stupid.
So which one is it? Am I dishonest?
Yeah, you're mendacious. Stupid? You're mendacious. You misrepresent.
Oh, I'm mendacious?
Yeah, well, that's a sort of a fancy word for.
Yeah, what's mendacious mean?
Dishonest. It means that you misrepresent facts and stuff.
Mendacious.
You misrepresent people. It's not strictly lying.
I think you're being vendacious right now.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay, whatever.
Unuseful. It's unhelpful. It doesn't help us.
Very much so.
Can we get that link?
No.
Oh, cool.
But you can see it from the Planck satellites data.
Where can I find that?
Planck satellite created a map of that effect throughout this observable universe.
Planck satellite. I wonder what it was engineered to observe in the first place.
You might be interested to know that Tamura's team stacked data on 2,600,000 pairs of galaxies.
Still not seeing a link.
And the de Graaf's group used over 1 million pairs of galaxies. Both teams found definitive evidence of gas filaments between galaxies.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
So we gotta figure out a way to detect negative gigahertz. And then we'll probably solve this problem.
You know, I don't dispute that there are plasma clouds, dust clouds, and all kinds of things out in the universe. I don't see what the significance of this is.
Sorry, I've got to ask again without sounding dumb. Negative gigahertz is two words I've not heard put together before. Sorry.
I know.
Neither have I.
I made it up because I'm reading the instruments on this Planck satellite, and their ranges of frequencies they can detect are almost to 0 gigahertz. They get down to 30, and then up to 857, which is a good range. But just like dark matter, which doesn't really exist as matter, so it wouldn't interact in the same way. I feel like any interactions it might have, maybe we could just put a negative, and then that could be a placeholder.
I don't think so.
I was just making shit up because I think it's fun.
With a frequency, I don't think you could have an anti-frequency.
I know. I was halfway kidding.
Fair enough. I thought so. I just thought I'd clarify that for the audience.
Yeah, no, sorry.
So Grimby is nice and quiet now because he's run out of bullshit to pull out of his ass.
Well, I was giving you a dumbass a chance to read.
To read
You're
what?
really gonna come back talking
read
stupid
what?
shit right
You
now?
didn't link him anything,
You're such a
Grimby.
gay
You didn't
fuck,
link
man.
anything.
It really sucks.
Where's the link?
What do you mean? Where's the link?
You
Yes.
said you were reading something, Grim.
I said I'm not giving you the link. You fucking retard.
Okay, well then what? Then why are you expecting us to read something?
Oh, you just finished saying that you're reading Planck. I expected.
I don't
you to
know if
read
I'm
something.
reading the
I gave
right
you a
thing. I
name.
just Googled some words I
Planck
heard you say
satellite
and hoped
data.
that I get the right thing. You know, I might be
Well, I
reading
said
an
two,
entirely
so-
wrong article. I might be reading the wrong thing.
Well, yeah, you are. If you don't know about it and you're not reading about it,
Oh, well, you know, help me out. Send me the right thing.
you mean help
Maybe.
you out, help you defeat me in an argument instead of
Oh,
leaving
so
you in a place
so
of
you know,
ignorance.
you know that your argument
wait a minute, is this a
vacuous and that
debate?
If you
Is this
give
a
me
debate?
your argument, you know that I'll be able to take it apart. Well, if your argument was
doesn't matter.
right,
I
I
showed
wouldn't
you
be
you're
able
wrong
to
in the
do
debate.
that.
The fact of the matter is, if you're wrong, you can just be wrong. I don't have to show
Well,
you that you're wrong in a debate. I don't have to
then
prove
don't
and show you
expect
how
us-
you are
Don't
wrong in a
expect
debate.
us to go
We
read
can see
something.
outside
all right?
that you're wrong in this debate.
Cool.
Why wouldn't you go read about
You
the
don't have
electric
to know.
universe? Why are you backing up things like dark matter and making fun of Grimm because of what he thinks of?
I'm not
Deep
making fun of
space.
him. I'm trying to get him to give me what he's looking at, and he won't.
So
No, you
look
know
up
what
the
you're
electric
doing.
universe. He's been doing research into it for years. There's
Mhm.
plenty of resource material if you want to
We're
look
right
into it.
here. We're right here
He
now.
has not
In
been
an-
doing research
We're
into
always
the-
right here somewhere.
We're just
Now
Yeah,
it's
yes.
happening.
No, he's not.
we're talking in an open platform here. You know, I feel like if he's got
Grimm,
Yeah,
how
but
long have you
Louis-
been studying the electric universe?
Louis, I'm seeing the waste of time that you are
He's
because I've
not-
already done all of this with you, and you've
He's
never
not
even
studying.
looked into
He's
it
not
enough to
studying
even
the
know
electric
some of the most
universe
simple
or
concepts.
researching it because he
Again.
lacks even the most elementary background to do that.
See how you just you see what you just did there? You just lied to everybody.
Really?
So
You
I mean,
lack-
you
Yeah,
could-
really. After I've demonstrated
clear all
several
this up.
times that I
you
know.
could clear it all up by
No, you don't.
explaining
I
your
know.
point of view.
Yeah, I already
You don't.
have, dude.
No,
I
you
have cleared
haven't.
it up. Really, I have.
You've sat
You
you've
just-
sat there and insulted us a couple times, and you're probably going
Us.
to do it again.
Us? Are you kidding? I just got called
Look,
an idiot, and that I
I
never
didn't
bring
call you-
anything to the
Actually,
table.
that didn't happen. Yeah, that's all in your head.
Well,
I
you
didn't
do it
call
when
you an
say-
idiot. I said that I didn't call you an idiot. I said that you lack the basic grounding in the
Mhm.
basic sciences in order to quote unquote research or study the electric
Right.
universe or
Which
any physics beyond
Right,
high school.
intimating I'm an idiot since I'm out here talking about it, right? And I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, that might be
Intimating that.
foolish, but
And
not
then you backtrack
stupid.
and act like, oh, I didn't say you were an idiot, but you're implying it. Okay, so stop being
Okay.
a fucking
So-
Don't be
so
a
your
passive
knowledge-
aggressive shit.
So
Well,
your
I mean,
knowledge
please.
Honest.
of your ability to research physics,
Your ability to
plasma
comprehend
physics.
what I'm telling you that's the problem, not my
Tell me
ability
about-
to tell you.
No,
I
tell me
already
ab-
told you. Right.
You don't know enough to study
You
these
don't
things.
know enough to understand what I'm saying as valid. You
Fine.
don't know enough to
Then-
appreciate the validity of the statements I'm making.
How
Not
was
I don't know enough.
how
it's
was
you that doesn't know enough. I've
Well,
clarified.
enlighten us.
well,
Enlighten
you
us.
just
know how to
talk
have-
over.
doesn't
you
know
know,
what a magnetohydrodynamic
you-
wave is. Okay.
Enlighten
You
us.
don't either. Neither one of you
Enlighten us.
fucking retards know.
Quiet.
Enlighten us.
Quiet. Now, what you don't
Can you not
understand.
mute him, Brenda?
What-
I mean, even me
what?
as the host, I'm
He
watching
won't
him.
let me talk. He
Well,
won't
it's 2
fucking
against
let me
1.
talk.
He's being put in a corner. It's 2 against 1. He's going to be fighting for airtime. Just let him. Wait for his pause. He will run out of steam eventually.
He
And
doesn't pause. He doesn't ever pause, and I never get to say more than 2 words.
Sure, but as much as I want to interject and say let them get their word in,
you.
you're opposing him 2 against 1. So he's going to get irate. And as much as, again, I want to tell him to stop swearing, he's 2 against 1. So, give him a fair crack of the whip. He'll run out of steam eventually.
I'm waiting to be enlightened.
Been muted by Brendo, you may not realise.
Yeah, Grim, you're muted.
Well, some creatures you just cannot enlighten. That's for sure.
No need.
Give it a shot.
I already did. Remember? In 17 other hangouts, Louis. You're still dumb as the first day I met you.
Give it a shot.
Did it. How many times do I need to repeat that same car crash?
Well,
give it a try.
Sorry, Louis.
Dude.
Just to interject. Maybe if you've had it explained to you dozens and dozens of times, as Grim's saying, maybe
I
you
haven't.
can explain
He's
your
not.
understanding.
He's not telling the truth.
Yeah,
fair
actually,
enough.
I am, and many people have actually.
So when have you explained it to me?
Many people have seen it. I've actually.
When have you explained it to me?
Again, you're gonna interrupt me again, you little fucking shit.
Yeah, when have you
I know.
explained it to
Come on,
me
that's-
before? Because you
that's
haven't.
twice now. Come on, no swearing, no need.
Right now, you kid. So anyway, yeah. No, there's no like reason in hell for me to sit here and try to.
So why are you here
then?
then? Because that's why I'm here.
Actually, no, dude. You're not. You're here for attention. You're here for a whole different reason.
Oh, okay.
I can see that. It's clear. That's usually why you hop on people's hangouts.
Man, I would really love it if you would get into the meat of your argument.
Well, you're the one arguing me, huh? Maybe you should know the argument before you come in to try and argue it. How about that?
Maybe you should give me the argument so I can know what it is.
Well, maybe you should actually. I'm going to give you the argument. Really?
That's what I would do if I was arguing something. I'd give you
No.
my argument, and then you could try and take it apart.
But you don't have an argument.
That's right.
So why are you?
Why
you
would
just
I?
said
Why
that
do I need one?
You were arguing something, but you are here arguing something, and you haven't done that. So
Well,
you
I
just
don't know
word
what I don't know
yourself into
what
a
you're
box
I
again.
don't know what you're putting
Kind of
forward.
dumb, dude. You're
I
kind of
can't
dumb.
argue.
I hate to say it, but it kind of sucks to have a conversation with somebody who just isn't trying to listen to you at all.
I am trying. You're not trying to speak.
No, you really aren't, because we've done this already
When?
many times
When?
in the past.
Name one time.
Don't need to name a particular time. Dude. Are you kidding me? Tell me one of the many interactions that we've had, which one it was when we talked.
We haven't
about,
had
you're not
very
that
many
important to me for me to remember that kind of shit for you.
We haven't had very many interactions.
Dude, I remember this over and over again. I remember this. You always hate the Thunderbolts project. You always come in and say dumb shit about it. You never have anything real.
I don't know what the
on
Thunderbolts
table.
project is.
There you go. Why are you even talking to me then?
Enlighten me.
Why are you talking to me?
Because
Lewis,
you're
what's
making
my
claims. You're making claims. That's why I'm
Are you
talking to
attracted
you.
me, dude?
Yeah, that's
'Cause
probably
I feel
it.
like you're playing some kind of a weird little game. Like,
It's probably it. I
Right.
just can't. Your machismo is just too irresistible.
it feels that way, doesn't it?
Yep.
So anyway, is this what you're here for? Just kind of like make a negative vibe on the whole chat room and the whole area here? Because you kind of bringing everybody down.
I don't.
Quiet.
I mean, that's your point of view.
Oh, sure is.
I'm waiting for you to tell me, your position.
Yeah, my position is of the EU theory against the standard model.
All right. So what does
There you
that? What does that mean?
So go learn it. Go learn the two, and you'll know.
No.
EU versus standard model. Go learn them. Yes. Don't try to, pee with the big dogs if, you can't get a little wet grass on you.
Don't pee with the big dogs. Because that's a normal thing. That's something people strive for, is to go pee with big dogs. I pee in the bathroom, but whatever.
While there's a small gap in the conversation, I'll just say feel free to join the conversation and challenge anything that these two guys have said. Or if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. The link to join is in the info box below this video.
So yeah, what are we talking about here? Flat Earth.
Should say to the keyboard warriors, really, if you want to put any flat earth arguments forward, but you just don't want to come in because these two are just so intimidating, feel free to type them or read them out.
I find it interesting that when Brenda was here, Grimby was nonstop chatter. Now that Brenda's gone, it's just silent.
Let's talk Thunderbolt project. I don't know what that means, Arwen.
Yeah, let's do that.
What do you know about the Thunderbolt project, Grimby?
What do you know about it?
Nothing.
Well, then why argue it?
If it's a good argument, then I shouldn't be able to pick it apart, right?
You can't pick it apart anyway.
Well, give it a shot.
You already did. Keep giving me another shot.
This is a really good conversation.
Pick something apart, bro.
I don't know anything about the Thunderbolt project. Tell me something.
Okay. Well, then now that we've clarified that, what else do we want to talk about?
You could tell me about it, and then we could have a conversation.
It was actually Arwen from the chat.
Arwen, if you know about the Thunderbolt project, you could come talk about it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple stuff.
All right, I'll go Google it. Thunderbolt project.
Thunderbolts.info. Go to the synopsis. Or the
Hell yeah.
There you go. You got it out in the end. That started Google search, and that was all you needed.
Synopsis. Store, books, DVDs, ebooks.
Introduction.
Thunderblogs. I don't see any introduction.
In the wake of recent discoveries, a new way of seeing the physical universe is emerging.
Where are you looking
at?
at?
Point emphasizes the role of electricity.
Where are you looking?
At the introduction and under the synopsis.
Where's that?
Thunderbolts.info.
Oh, I see. Over on the very far right in small print. Nice.
Site highlights.
I mean, I would.
The new vantage point emphasizes the role of electricity in space and shows the negligible contribution of gravity in cosmic events. Images returned by high-powered telescopes and recent space probes have challenged astronomers' long-standing assumptions about galaxies and their constituent stars, about the evolution of our solar system, and about the nature of history of the Earth. The new discoveries
Today,
also
magnetic fields are detected everywhere in the empty depths of intergalactic space. Magnetic fields cannot exist without causative electric currents. The naked electric force is 39 orders of magnitude, 1,000 billion times stronger than gravity. The visible universe is constituted almost entirely of electrical active plasma. In the 20th century, the pioneers of plasma science inspired a new school of investigation called plasma cosmology. Plasma cosmologists suggest that electricity is the primary force of organizing spiral galaxies and the astonishing galactic cluster now seen in deep space. Plasma cosmology has achieved surprising success in predicting a major discoveries of the space age. This new perspective does not require purely theoretical inventions based on mathematical assumptions like the Big Bang, dark matter, dark energy, neutron stars, or black holes. Well, that's a lot of assertions.
An electric universe extends the findings of plasma cosmology to the formation and evolution of stars and their planetary satellites. Stars are formed at the intersections of galactic current filaments and dusty space plasma. The size of a star and its color are determined electrically.
They're just changing around the words from gas cloud.
Nova and supernova are the explosive response of stars to a power surge in their galactic circuit. Proponents of the electric universe suggest that there are no isolated islands in the universe. All objects in space, from subatomic particles to galactic clusters, are connected by manifestations of the electric force acting in real time. The Standard Model of the Sun proposes that pressure at the core of the Sun provokes a thermonuclear reaction.
I don't see how
this model say that this thermonuclear furnace causes the Sun to shine. The Electric Sun Model, on the other hand, envisions the thermonuclear reactions and neutrino production at or close to the surface of the Sun, where the maximum charge between the Sun and its external environment occurs. That would be the photosphere, and it would be fission, turning heavier particles to neutrinos instead of lighter particles.
So what experiments can we do that, demonstrate these principles?
Look at Anthony Pratt or Hannes Alfvén or any of the plasma physicists that did the experiments already that can show you all of that. No problem. That's the thing about what he just said. Remember in the part you read up there?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. What do you remember about it that was important to that?
It doesn't seem like any of the things they say up here help. Like what experiments are we going to be able to do because we can detect magnetic fields everywhere? We already knew that before all this. Like we already knew that electromagnetic fields were everywhere.
No, we did not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't know that they were connected.
I guess we just didn't know. Okay. We had no idea. Okay.
We didn't. That's why we made gravity alone based theories, because we didn't know that there was a medium out there connecting.
Since when have we ever had a gravity alone based theory?
You're misunderstanding. I'm talking about gravity alone. It's never been a gravity alone based theory, but it's never allowed for electromagnetic.
Excuse me. A whole new name and set of terms and stuff.
Excuse me.
Oh, it's because there's a store up here with products.
Right. There's been magnetism, but that's only because of what you're calling banging rocks together instead of.
I actually never used that term, but all right.
Well, the Standard Model. Okay, that's what we're talking about. This is how they think magnetism is occurring because of collisions.
No, it's not. I don't believe you got straight A's in physics.
All right. So anyway, their whole thing is based upon collisions. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're not allowing electric currents over vast distances in the theory is what we're talking about. So
what mechanism is there for them to be there?
Over vast distances, they're saying it's gravity alone. Yes, I am saying that they are saying that.
That's
what they are saying.
what allows the magnetic connections to exist, or the electric connections to exist?
Let's tell him again, just for the. How about that, chat? Somebody in the chat.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Well, somebody in the chat, please type out what the medium is for him again, because I'm tired of repeating myself.
You haven't said it once.
Bullshit. You'll see. Somebody will type it in the chat for you.
Yeah, let's see. Let's find out. Let's find out if one of these people types it in the chat. Oh man, it almost looks like no one cares.
They probably don't. Tell them what the medium is again, will you?
Medium is mediocre. Medium is cheese.
Will somebody tell him? Thanks, Cogd.
Is it really cheese? Like the moon?
Somebody read Cogd answer, please.
No.
Will you read what Cogd said there?
Cogni.
First part, not the second part.
Cogni.
Cogd, C-O-G-D, all capitals. The yellow guy. There's your medium.
I don't see anybody by the name of Cogdi.
Oh.
How far up is this?
Yeah. Really far. Just 10 fucking words up. 10 or 12, what do you call it? Up. Never mind, man.
There's nobody by that name in the chat. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't see anybody by that name in the chat.
Oh, well. Right under Captain Bullshit and right between Awake Souls and Captain Bullshit, Cogd.
Right between Awake Souls and Captain Bullshit.
Are you on the right chat?
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing, dude. It goes Captain Bullshit, Awake Souls, Aries 106, Arwen, Horse and People, Wearing People Costume, Ron Burgundy. Above Captain Bullshit, It's a Land Without Judgment, and then Arwen again, and then Horse and People Costume again. There is no Cogd.
Yeah, I can't see it either. I've just gone through.
I don't see it either now. That is very weird.
I believe you. Sunday.
Oh, I see it. Now here it is. Here, let me screen share you.
Oh.
Fucking weird.
We could box if you want, Grim. I have some boxing gloves now. Oh, Daniel Reza. I don't know. I don't know if I want to box somebody who wants to box me. I think you might knock me out. I'm not so arrogant as to think that I can just take on anyone. I've got a friend actually who I box with, not really training. I'm not really good enough to consider it boxing yet, but I'm pretty sure he would knock me out, and he's like a foot shorter than me. He's got a lot of power. Twit. Play for points, no knockouts. I mean, I still feel like we might where I might get knocked out.
The elusive Cog D is there. He says, what was it he said? Plasma. There we go.
Oh, plasma. So like around Earth and in our solar system and immediately out of our solar system between the huge distances between us and all the stars and other solar, there's plasma. There's just a bunch of plasma connecting us all. Okay.
Give me a second. I'll find it. It disappeared again.
Is that why we're able to just travel around in
Weirdest
spaceships
fucking
without
thing.
running into plasma and getting vapor? Yeah, that's cool. Ooh,
Good
Pete
question there.
Shea.
Sorry. Hold on. Sorry. Just
I
before
am
that goes
not
unchecked.
gay, and you spelled my
Louis,
name
sorry.
wrong. But
you just said
I
about
am a lover,
spaceships.
but I'm also a
and-
fighter. So don't
sorry
get
to
ideas.
interrupt you, Lewis. I just wanted to let that slide Grim V past, or slide past Grim V. So he said about plasma and space travel and spaceships. So I just wondered how Grim's going to address that.
Oh.
What was the question? I didn't see it. Who asked it?
Oh, I said there's plasma between us and the edge of the solar system. Is that the claim? Because if plasma's the connecting medium, then that means it has to be everywhere. There has to be a link everywhere. So where is it?
And it is.
Where?
Permeates the entire solar system.
So why aren't we vaporized upon entering space?
You would be if you weren't protected. And it's not that kind of plasma. It's not like an arc welder. Listen,
okay.
plasma. Yeah. What you're talking about in an arc welder is another modality of plasma in arc mode. That's actually the discharge mode of the plasma. We're talking about sustaining fields. You're talking about the actual lightning bolt of the discharge. We're talking about the actual field.
That's
itself,
what plasma is, a state of matter.
That's good boy. That's right.
So where is it? It doesn't exist as a potential field. It exists
dude, I'm having
as
problems.
plasma.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
So where is it?
And
where is it?
It's everywhere. It's all over space. Space is full of it. You think I'm just making that up?
Yeah.
Okay, well then you're not very informed, especially not even with NASA's own data.
It's not a good enough explanation for the connectivity of objects within the solar system to objects outside of the solar system and beyond.
Maybe it's a bit like the Holy Spirit. It connects.
It must be.
Right. That means it's not good enough or whatever. He doesn't want to investigate it or look at it at all on his own time, because it'll take a lot of time for him to even understand this. This isn't something you come in not knowing anything about, trying to debate in a hangout.
Yeah, you got to buy a bunch of products from that store.
It's a lot of wasted
really
time. It would slow down.
Right.
Like if I had to go through the whole teaching experience with you, Lewis, it would really
my laundry. I'll be right back.
For quite a boring fucking hangout, I tell you. So there's a link about half the universe is missing matter. So you can see visually in between the galaxies, the actual connection of the filaments that we're discussing. So that way you can actually see it with your own eyes with the, and you can look up all the equipment and how they found it and which space Planck satellites they're using. And, the Sloan Digital Sky Survey and all of those different things. And you can look it all up and learn a lot of stuff all on your own time. And it won't be a big waste of fucking time for everyone else. You're sitting there trying to argue from ignorance, dude. So there you go. There's the link for you. It's in the chat there. You can give it to the chat if you want, so that they can see the visualization of the actual hot diffuse gas, they're calling it, which is the plasma. There it is. Then you can see their other article here, cosmic inflation smoking gun goes up in smoke. Or we can see NASA Goddard. Let's see. Moonwave. There's a video here from NASA Goddard, published March 31st, 2017.
Awesome.
It's called Observations Reshape Basic Plasma Wave Physics.
Oh, half the universe's missing matters just been finally found. That's really cool.
Yeah.
By Leah Crane.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first detection of the roughly half of the the grammar in this thing. This is the detection of the roughly half of the normal matter in our universe, protons, neutrons, and electrons, unaccounted for by previous observations of stars, galaxies, and other bright objects in space. You have probably heard about the hunt for dark matter, a mysterious substance that is thought to permeate the universe, the effects of which can see through its gravitational pull. But our models
the effects of which we can see through its gravitational
what are you doing?
I'm helping you.
But our you don't need to help me read, thanks. But our models
obviously I do, because you skipped the word.
Grim, stop. Also, there should be about twice as much ordinary matter out there compared with what we have observed so far. 2 separate teams found the missing matter, made of particles called baryons rather than dark matter. Well, what are those composed of? Boy, it doesn't really go into that.
Oh, shut up. Linking
that's
galaxies
cool.
Together. Finish the sentence before you say something so dumb.
Oh, okay. Linking galaxies together through filaments of hot diffuse gas. All right, you know what diffuse gas is made of? Protons, neutrons, and electrons. So this whole thing is retarded. Case closed. It contradicted itself, all right?
It's
already done.
Got a mic you can drop.
Yes, it does. All right. It says half of the matter's missing, and that matter is made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. And then it says it's called baryons, which are hot diffuse gas, which are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Right. So what? That doesn't mean that obviously the connection is still
matter.
There.
It means it's normal matter.
It means it's plasma also.
Okay. Plasma is matter, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Okay.
That's the whole point of that being what we're talking about. Plasma is out there when it was thought not to be.
Outside of the solar system.
And inside the solar, what do you think speeding up ions are? What do you think that is?
A speeding up ion?
What do you think hydrogen ions are?
Exactly what that is. Exactly what they are. It's a hydrogen ion.
What?
Exactly what it says it is. It's a hydrogen ion.
Right. So what is plasma? An ionized gas consisting of positive ions and free electrons in proportions resulting in more or less, it says, no electric overall charge. That was the old definition. Now, I just showed you that in March they found the kinetic wave, which means that it is not, these old definitions are incorrect. It is not no electric charge. It actually has capacitance. That's the next video I'm fixing to hand you.
No electric charge is not equal to no capacitance. There are loads of things that are neutrally charged that have capacitance. I don't see what this has to do with anything.
I'm sorry, you don't see. Lots of other people do.
I feel like you're connecting dots that shouldn't be connected.
I feel like you're just not connecting dots that should be connected.
Well, you know, go change the world, make predictions, invent the next
generation's technology. Yeah, that's no big deal. You don't need to tell me.
So what do you do for a living that's, you know, pushing the bleeding edge of science forward with this?
What are you talking about? Actually, I have my own orbital mechanics of the moon theory.
And how does that help the world and the technology develop for the next millennium?
Who said that that's what I was aiming to do?
That's what science is about. And if you're not in
Right.
it to do that,
Oh,
why are
okay.
you
So
here?
if you can't see how knowing how the moon actually orbits around the Earth as being something that someone should know, that's
We
not
already
my,
have a
my
theory of
problem.
that, and it works really well.
Oh my
Like,
God. You
there's
have an
basically
explanation.
there's nothing wrong with it.
There actually is. You have a description for something that
How would you go about getting to the moon?
you have a description about it, dude, but not an explanation.
How would you go about
The
getting
fact
to the
that you don't
moon?
know that
Would
is
would it be different? Would you use a different mechanism to get to the moon than what we normally use?
Why direct the conversation into some abstract straw man bullshit?
It's not. It's not. This is practical. This is taking what you're talking about and trying to make it practical. And if you can't do that, then it's useless.
What you consider practical, it has to be going to the moon. That's all. That's the only thing.
You brought up the moon,
I know,
bud.
but you gave me one choice. Why? And I said going to the
Every
moon. I said the orbital mechanics of the
restricted your
moon.
choices at all.
You're not listening long enough to even appreciate any of the answers I give you.
You talk far more than I do.
Right over me every time I say one of my answers that you ask a question to. So it's obvious you're not really fucking interested in hearing any of the answers.
Go on.
Yeah. So why would it have to be practical to you in the first place? I don't trust your cognitive reasoning of what practicality is all about in the first place, obviously. Since you
I would like you interrupt me to tell me that I don't let you finish, but then you ask me a question and just criticize me rather than giving me the explanation, which you're claiming that I'm interrupting. I'm not interrupting any criticism, okay? Right. You're just insulting me and saying that I'm not worthy and can't understand. Just get lost.
You get lost, you fucking clownfish.
Go on, no more swearing. Strike two, whatever. Just keep it cordial.
Anyway, so Nathan, have you shared those links that I'm putting in the side chat?
I haven't, but you're free to stick them up if you want to screen share. I'll just stick the box around you so it shows to everyone.
You throw them in the chat, or hand me the wrench for a minute. I'll throw them in the chat.
Sorry, I mean, if you literally display it on your computer, I'll then present what you're displaying rather than me displaying it. Just because I've only got one screen on at the moment, it's daytime here, so I can't really put my projector on. So it's just more difficult for me to do in this time.
You're gonna try and you think people are gonna type in the address, Nathan?
No, I mean if you do it, if you literally present, if you go to the address and then present it, I will display your screen so that people can see it on the Hangout.
So, real quick, somebody said that you've claimed to have a very high IQ. I'm interested to hear what you think your IQ is.
Dude.
Come on.
No, seriously. Don't ad hom me.
I'm not.
Yeah,
you are.
Blatantly. IQ. How can I demonstrate that to you?
No, just say what
if you don't have one too.
Think it is.
Right. How could you know? Possibly.
I don't. I'm just interested to know what you think it is.
Who cares?
I do. That's why I asked.
Oh, I don't. So I'm not answering.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Run around telling everybody you're a badass, and then everybody wants to try to fight you.
I don't think I'm that badass. I don't run around telling people that.
Yeah, I'm using analogies right now, but you would know that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that.
I
can't tell an analogy from when you're just straight describing a person. Yeah, that's virtually indistinguishable. My IQ is probably barely over 100. Very average.
Right, may as well try and start the conversation going with something controversial. So, I'm sure I've had people tell me that the double slit experiment pretty much proves we're in a simulated reality. I mean, how do you guys feel about
that? That's one of them things that's not provable, and if it is the case, I don't think it would matter unless the mechanism that we find out that we're in a simulation allows us to break the rules, then we would have a obligation, indeed a moral obligation, to break the system to find out what's next. But if the mechanism isn't something that allows us to change the rules, and it doesn't matter, and we should just live in the system.
So if we were Sims in the Sim, whatever it's called, Sim City reality, you're saying that we should try and break out of that simulation?
Yeah, if we were able to find a way, then we should. Yeah.
Right, Grim, you're presenting to everyone.
All right. What now? Sorry, I stepped away. Did somebody say something?
Yeah,
All right,
you're on.
play.
Your sine wave's just up and you're presenting to everyone. If you can make it full screen, even better.
Want me to read it out loud? For over half a century, scientists have wondered exactly how the wave interacts with
No, it's only
particles.
a minute-long video. Don't drag it out.
NASA's MMS mission was able to observe kinetic Alfvén waves down to the scale of how particles move for the first time.
Awesome.
That's why you don't know about it. And I'm not saying you're dumb for not knowing brand new information. I'm saying you're dumb for arguing information that's brand new that you don't even know exists. That's all I'm saying.
I don't call you dumb.
Well, I do call you dumb. That's all I'm saying.
Come on. Jesus.
Well, it's obvious. This trapping allows energy to cycle efficiently back and forth between the wave and plasma. The MMS could see such small scales because the 4 observatories fly in the closest spacecraft formation ever flown. With 3D data from MMS, we study plasma physics near Earth, which sheds light on fundamental physics throughout the universe. Throughout the universe.
That's very cool. See, this is the answer to all those questions I was asking you earlier, and you just didn't want to give it to me.
You know what? I've given you this video now since the day it came out. I've been giving you this video. Oh, yeah. And everybody who's been trying to argue me.
You haven't.
Yes, I have. I've shown you this video. You just never were forced to watch it. You just ignored the link. Don't act like I haven't shown you the video. I don't lie, dude. There's no reason for you to try to intimate that I'm fucking lying here. Excuse my French.
I'm not.
I won't cuss again.
I'm just denying that I've seen the video and that you've sent it to me.
Well, which is a lie, because I've shown you the video. I've given you the link.
See, that was you accusing me of lying. Me claiming that I never received the link from you and haven't seen it. That is not accusing you of lying.
Yeah, it is, because I'm telling you that I gave you the link.
Go on with the video, you dense. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. Almost as dense as your black hole math.
That was
Yeah, infinitely dense.
It's a decent joke.
But
I mean, what about this?
You loved it.
Black holes still work just fine with all of this.
Black holes don't exist, knucklehead, and no, they don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which one of them is asymptotically curved?
How does this?
Which one is asymptotically flat?
What?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, you cut out.
Are you reading, or do I need to read it? Or
yeah, I'm reading.
The solar wind,
I'm reading, man.
Full of plasma from the sun that fills the solar system. Well, I'm just glad I was able to show you this finally.
All right, I don't see how that conflicts with any of modern science.
They just told you that it does. In the video title, it says observations reshape basic plasma wave physics. I don't know how much you don't see. You don't see a lot that's right in front of your face.
What is that?
You can't fix, you know, don't you? Use that high IQ of yours. You can't fix that shit.
I have an average IQ.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay. You can be the judge of just about anything you want.
Plasma wave physics in the title of the video, and you just told me I don't see how that conflicts at all with what. Come on, man.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It does. It's reshaping. Reshaping basic plasma wave physics. They didn't know this. This is brand new stuff for them. They didn't know that the plasma behaved this way out there in nature, bro. That's why. So yeah, it's reshaping basic plasma wave physics.
It doesn't undermine gravity. It doesn't undermine other understandings of forces in nature.
No, it really doesn't. Not if you don't know that electromagnetic fields are 1,000 billion times stronger than gravity. If you don't know that, then you're right. But if you do know that, then you're wrong.
That's a well understood.
You're completely right until you read. And then you're wrong.
All of this is well understood.
No, it's not. Obviously, or it wouldn't just came out as observations that reshape basic plasma wave physics, you knucklehead. NASA got it. Okay, so what you call understood isn't understood. It's still being observed.
You have this.
They're still learning about it right now. They don't even understand it now.
I get the impression
they found it. They don't understand it. They're still trying.
I get the impression that you think when science discovers something new, it kind of wipes the slate clean on everything they used to think.
No, you're being arbitrary and strawmanning now. Of all things, when science finds one thing,
I'm just telling you what it seems like you're doing.
Okay, well, glad for your opinions, but I thought we were talking about facts.
Well, all we have are our opinions of facts.
That's all you have is your opinion. Obviously, I'm presenting facts.
That's all we have. That's all we have.
Except for me in this argument, because I'm presenting facts that you don't understand. Right, facts. And I'm demonstrating that these facts are actually real in real time in front of people right now, while you're still saying the opposite shit.
I mean, there was a bunch of assertions there about Alfvén waves.
Right.
And
if you were an average IQ like you claim to be, you would have already been embarrassed by now by your mistake, and you'd have stopped.
Go on. You've already picked up Louis.
I don't see what my mistake was,
Come on.
man.
Cut the ad hominem attacks. It's just no need.
Clearly, you don't.
Both as bad as each other.
Yeah, I just said that.
Well, the argument's already degraded since like the beginning of the conversation when he came in not knowing anything about the argument that he decided to oppose.
And it's taken you this long to finally tell me about it.
Again, you mean? Because we've done this before.
No, this is the first time. This is the first time.
Either way, it's all new to me, and it's probably all new to the audience. So I applaud both of you for getting this far and getting this information out. Thank you.
You're welcome, Nathan. I appreciate you having me on for it. It's always fun to show the lane streamers new information that they.
It must be cool just being a demigod with access to such brilliant ideas.
I don't believe in religions and demigods and all that stuff, so I don't understand your point.
Oh, sure you do. Just take it as a metaphor or an analogy.
Yeah. Right. You're trying to assert that I'm the one that's in the religion here?
No, I'm asserting that you have an egotistical point of view and think you're better than everybody else. That's what I'm asserting.
What? I just think I'm better than you.
And everyone else. You just said I'm just here to show the lay people.
I'm not having that kind of a problem with everybody.
Look,
don't try to play to people's emotions.
You talk to, Grim, if everybody you talk to disagrees with you about this and it has a similar interaction as I am, then it's you that has the attitude issue.
That's not what happens, though.
It is.
No, it's not.
Oh, so who have you convinced?
Well, look at my subs. Look at my subs. How many subs do you have?
I don't make content.
Okay, well, I've got 2,000 something subs. Not a big deal, right? But those are the people who actually know what I'm talking about. They agree.
How many people are there in the world?
Well, we got about 2,000, 2,500 people who agree with this.
How many people are there that do this type of thing for a living?
So you're asking me who, right?
Yeah.
Like who? Like, is there a number of people or particularly who?
Yeah, I mean, the sub count was fine.
Cool. So therefore, that your argument about how people can't just have a conversation with me about this blah 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 blah. Most of those people did not.
They're
agree
watching
with
a
me.
video on your channel. They're watching a video. They're not having
Most
an
of them-
interaction with you.
That's not always how I meet people. Obviously, I'm here on Google Plus right now with you.
Yeah, obviously.
And this is a lot of how I'll
How do
you
your
know, look
actions?
for
How do your
intelligent people.
interactions typically go on Google Plus with people in Hangouts?
Fairly well, actually. Look at all
Oh.
my Hangouts. I've got a lot of
Gosh.
open Hangouts right now where a lot of my friends, who you're not in any of them, by the way, maybe one of them that aren't even mine.
That's fine.
That's right, because I, you know, why would you be?
Yeah,
I've
I've got my
invited
own
you.
life. I have my own priorities, as you
Right.
do. Why would you expect our circles to be mixed?
Because you're trying to talk on the topics that I'm speaking on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's right there. There, your attitude is pushing through that you have some sort of hierarchical dominance in this knowledge tree here.
Over you.
No, over everyone.
See, the whole thing is about perception, really. It's like if I'm standing on a skyscraper and I see this big wave coming to wipe out the city, does it mean that I'm smarter than everyone else, or that I just have a different perception?
Right, exactly. All right. See,
Right.
but you're
So
not.
here I
standing
am on the skyscraper, right?
No, you're not.
And I'm
Okay, what
pointing
is
at
the
water
skyscraper
coming,
in
and-
real
and
life?
you're- and
What are
you're-
you
and You're
using?
arguing with me and saying
You're using a skyscraper as an
you're arguing
analogy
with me.
for
That's
something.
right.
What is
And
that
I'm still
something?
not done with my analogy, right? But
You're
while
never
I'm
going
in
to
the
finish,
middle of
dude.
my
You're going to
analogy,
end with an insult.
right? No, I'm not actually. So
Oh, I
why don't
can't
you quit
wait.
presuping me like you've been doing this entire time. Okay, quit thinking you know what I'm about to say already, because that's what's been the mistake of yours in the first place. Always assuming you know what's about to come next, and you've failed miserably. So anyway, you're right. I was going to insult you. Actually, I wasn't. but
Oh,
you made me.
man. There
I
you
just
go.
did. I did
Yep.
insult you just now. But
Yep,
it was
yep.
because of
Oh.
fucking interruption.
Let's
because
see if
you're
you
interrupting
follow it
me.
up with a point.
Right. So the point being was, before I was interrupted, would have been that it doesn't mean that I'm smarter than you or anyone else, but you're arguing with me about this wave coming and telling me you think you're so smart. And I'm going,
Yeah, and
okay,
you
well,
said you're
actually,
on a
right now,
skyscraper.
since you're arguing with me and you're not looking
You said
behind
that you're
you,
on a skyscraper.
I'm saying,
What
yeah.
is that skyscraper an analogy for?
Vision, a view, a perception.
Oh,
Somebody-
so I
Right.
mean,
Somebody,
I have
like if you
vision
and I
and
made
perception
straight A's in school, right? Like you say you made straight A's too, and I believe you because
in
it's not that hard.
physics.
to
In
make straight A's.
physics,
Yeah, biology,
not everything
physics,
else.
chemistry.
I didn't
all
get
of
straight A's. Everything else.
All right. Well, I made B+ in chemistry and A's in early high school physics. But then again, absences and all that come about, and I still made hundreds on tests and high grades on tests and whatnot. But it was a matter of what do you call it? Absences. You
Okay.
got to understand the different life.
You didn't learn much.
Sorry
You don't
to
know
interrupt, guys. I just wanted to
All
introduce
your
Pete.
senses
We've got
tell you that.
sorry,
all
Pete.
your
I'll just give you an introduction.
Smarts
So,
haven't
hello,
stood
Pete.
you, have they?
How you doing?
Everybody's talking.
Hello, Nathan. How you doing? Eleanor's gorgeous, Nathan. Jesus, she's got something
Thanks.
big, right?
Yeah, she's running around at the minute.
God, I mean, she looks like a 2-year-old, and I know she's not 2, is she?
15 months at the moment.
Wow.
She's not on camera. She's
That's
running
good.
around. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll say hello to Lewis and Mr. Grimm there. Yeah,
Hey, Petey.
Howdy ho, Pete.
it's true though, isn't it? In one sense, I mean, I did well in school as well, and I went on to university, and I realized early doors that it's all about repeating.
Yep.
You don't necessarily have to understand it or think your way through it. Just repeat it, and the better
Yep.
you repeat it.
Well, the repetition is about teaching you work.
What's that?
Repetition is about teaching you work.
What do you mean by that?
It's to give you stamina.
Well, I mean, it could be. It can be said to
Enema.
do that in some senses. It could also be a sort of a part and parcel of the brainwashing system we call the educational system.
You got to have a long-term goal for it. You don't want to
Well, I
just go
mean-
to school frivolously. A lot of people and I mean, they market it that way as if you're just supposed to finish high school up, go right on into college, you're ready. A lot of people aren't ready. They don't know what they want to do. They haven't acclimated themselves to the world.
To the world, Lewis. I mean, you're pretty young, and what has defined your worldview? You say you did well in physics, right? So you're proud of that fact. What has that taught you? You don't know the Earth is flat and stationary. even though all your senses tell you that, and you're trying to use your intellectual
That's not true.
brain.
My sense of vision does not tell me that.
That's
the
right.
most important one.
Pete, you just brought Lewis and I
you
together. Like the worst mistake you could have made right now.
Well, yeah. On that note, at least let him get his points out. Please don't go.
You're gonna make Lewis and I be friends against the flat Earth stuff. That's like a big mistake
That's
you're
cool,
making.
man. I can
right
take on 10 of you because I know the truth is with all of us, but you're denying the truth. You're sort of an intermediary, Mr. Grimm, and I mean, it's all transparent at this stage, you know what I mean? But I just came on to give a flat Earth side. Lewis says his vision tells him that he lives on a ball, is it? That you don't live in a flattened stationary plane.
He's right. I agree with him. Unfortunately,
well, I mean,
for this,
can you give me a direct example of how your vision tells you that then?
Oh, because the sun doesn't shrink into a tiny little dot as it goes off into your so-called line of sight.
Hang on. You just brought something else into the equation. First of all,
we didn't. That's part of it. It's all part of it, Pete.
No, hang on.
Part of my vision.
Hang on. First of all, we'd have to define the sun, right? So
no, you don't. No, you don't.
So you don't. Well,
it's a ball of light in the sky. That's all you need to know.
Okay, so how does that tell you that you are living on a sphere or on a curve?
Well, there's only so many explanations for the motion of celestial bodies, and the best one is that we are spinning.
So hang about. What about if let's say, for instance, there was a curvature or a contour to the barrier upon which the sun moves around?
Then we would notice a whole different set of optics with everything else in the sky.
That's right.
Yeah, but hang on. We talked about primary senses here. You said your vision told you that you lived on a curved surface.
That's right.
So you have to bring other assumptions, other presumptions, other factors into it then. So it's not just primarily your vision you're relying on. You're bringing your intellectual sort of abilities into it, right?
Since we're talking about that, since that's what you brought up as our parameter of conversation of what we can see with our senses, that's why we're talking about that. Now, if you change the goalpost, then we can talk about the tools and the measurements that we can use that actually follow and further our logic. But I mean, what you're saying right now is how we can visually sense with our senses, detect this curvature. So that's why we're speaking about it this way.
Right.
Visually, we can.
The sun, you see, and this is my point. You might say the sun is a light source, but if you're not going to
what it is.
Yeah, but hang on, man.
I'm gonna go to work. I'll see you guys later.
Massive
Pete, I really want to have this conversation with you.
No problem, Lewis. Take it easy, man. You always sort of bow out early when I come along. Well, that's fine. I'll embarrass Grimm.
Not always.
No,
we'll have and maybe if Nathan's still alive when I come back, but there will be time.
Okay, well, one thing for you,
Lewis, really
show your
appreciate
face
it.
Anyway, so that's something in your favor. The vast majority of people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe whatever. I mean, some people think that's a good thing, but I just think it's a natural default.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna run from the dodo.
The dodo makes fools of the clever, right?
Big thanks to Lewis. He has done so many of these shows now. He just keeps coming on and he's holding his own. So big props to him.
Yeah, well, listen, Nathan, we notice so many characters who keep coming back again and again. How long is it now? And we never see their faces. We never see their names, So it's just you're arguing with ghosts in one sense, which is the way it's designed as well. So at least it doesn't. I mean, when you show your face, it doesn't mean anything or prove anything overly, but at least it's sort of a next step up anyway.
I'm glad you've stepped up, Pete. I really am. It's surprising who steps up, and you're one of them. You're on a short list, I'll be honest, of flat earthers that have joined and challenged anything that anybody said so far. So it's good to see you. Jason, as much as I give him crap in the comments, he's another one. He joined as a flat earther. So,
yeah, it's just it's a discussion.
I'm still here.
As I said,
we know, Grimm. We know.
This is a throwback to Feds last year, Flat Earth discussions. So I'm sure all the baller antagonists are delighted with the open format and the open forum they have here, which is fine. But I mean, anyone listening, I would say, after getting beyond a certain point, this won't serve them too well. So I can understand why too many not too many flat earthers would be willing to come on and have the same old discussions, really, you know. I mean, I can make a fool of Mr. Grimm here in moments. I know I can, because I think I know he knows the truth as well. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you've already made one assertion, Pete, which is great, because we can go from there. You've said that it's obvious and observable, and why wouldn't you believe it? So maybe Grimm wants to address that very specific point that you made.
Yeah. Go ahead, say that again. I was wanting to go put some pants on.
Everyone runs when I come along, but it's okay. I mean,
well, if I got walked to go put some pants on.
Okay, man. Well, just in general, let me say, since you didn't get an answer to that question,
because I couldn't hear you because I was putting on some pants, like I said.
Okay.
So I asked you to repeat the question without all this fucking bullshit.
Sorry. Yeah. I thought you had to go somewhere and put on some pants. Sorry, I'll mute.
Oh, okay, I got him on. Let's go. What's the question?
Well, you couldn't put them on. Silently.
I'll assert it for you.
No,
so
Pete basically, I said I had to go put on pants. I already missed the question because I left to go put on the pants.
Okay. What Pete asserted, Mr. Grimm V, was that it's obvious and observably flat. Therefore, why would you not realize that it's flat based on that?
That's a logical fallacy, because it's not obvious and logically flat for him to say that. Right? It's just, that's already, so to premise the question behind that, no way I could answer it without somehow saying it's obviously flat when I don't see it that way. Right? It's not obviously flat. There's a horizon for a reason. I can see a tower after the horizon. I can measure the hidden area of the target obstructed by the horizon, the distance, and calculate the radius of the Earth from that, and the radius comes out to the proper radius, about 6,371 kilometers.
How do you go about measuring the distance to the horizon, man?
Well, I don't use, when you talk about 8 inches per mile and then you use the horizon line instead of the line of sight,
forget about the
that's
mile.
Your problem. That's why you're misrepresenting the formula. Otherwise, the formula
forget
works.
about the math first. We're just at the base principles. I mean, you're saying to me that your senses don't tell you that you live on a flat and a stationary plane of whatever dimensions, because you can measure the horizon. So I say, how do you go about measuring? You yourself measuring, first of all, where the horizon is. How do you pinpoint it exactly, and how do you define the horizon?
Well, at 6 foot, I can see about 2.98 miles.
How do you know?
At 6 foot high. Well, because you can put a buoy out. You can travel away from it. You can put a tower. You can measure the tower. It's not that hard. These places exist on Earth. Lighthouses. You can measure the hidden obstructed view.
A tower.
There's so many different ways to do it.
What tower are you talking about? I mean, if you can see the tower, surely there's something behind the tower. So there's a greater horizon that you're missing. What tower are you talking about?
Because it's a sphere. Of course, you're going to miss it. You're not there to be able to see it.
Find out. We're trying to find out if it's a sphere or if it's a flat plane. You can't go along and say, well, I decided it's a sphere because it's a sphere.
What are you asking?
Right. I asked you regarding the horizon. How do you go about measuring the distance to the horizon? How do you identify the horizon, first of all? Over water, I assume we're talking about.
There's lots of different ways to do that, actually. You can measure you can measure the distance along the road if you need to see, mile markers to understand that, what you're doing, or you can measure it by foot, or you can actually know the distance because the measurements have already been done and you can use those calculations.
But how do you, hang on, how do
There's all kinds of different ways to do that. I mean,
but hang on, what do you mean you can measure it by foot? I mean, do you need a partner? You need someone to walk to the horizon? And when you can't see them, do you describe that as the horizon, or do you bring out your binoculars and then you tell them to keep walking? And then when
you take your boat, right? You take your boat and you drive out 3 nautical miles on your boat.
Just arbitrarily 3, right?
Just 3 arbitrary nautical miles over water. Right.
Okay.
Then that's how you can measure it. I mean, what do you want me to say? You want to walk on water to go measure it?
I take it you're out here in an honest manner, and you're looking to find out the shape and nature of your own home, Mr. Grimm. Remember, this is your home, and you can be said, hang on, you can be said to be king of this earth just as much as everyone else can. So you want to find out the nature of your home, right? If you're being deceived or not. And there is a suspicion we're being deceived. So if you think that answer you gave right there is good enough, not just for me or anyone listening, for yourself, man.
Definitely, dude. Yeah, definitely.
You're crazy, right? But of course, I know something else is going on. You're sort of like an Ireland Von Vicious
style, and then you come in and calling people crazy because you don't understand simple measurements. Right? It's like saying, I'm going to take a ruler and measure this piece of wood and see that it's 3 foot long, and then you calling me crazy.
No, but you're not. But hang on, you're not going to achieve anything by just saying, I'm going to measure 3 miles out. What are you going to measure? Why 3 miles? You said, I'm going to do that, and therefore, the earth is a sphere.
See how you keep on creating a new conversation out of parts of words that I'm using, parts of phrases and sentences that I'm using?
Well,
I said, if you stand up, if you stand up at 6 foot, you can see to the horizon about 3 miles, 2.98 miles. Now you brought the 2.98 miles and said, well, why would you go and look at 2.98 miles? And then no one's saying that. We used 43 kilometers or 47.3 something kilometers as our distance so that we could make a better measurement over the miles, instead of it being only 8 inches or, 24, 28, 36 inches or whatever. You know what I mean? That we're trying to find over miles, 3 miles. That's very hard to detect. Some lightweight, couple of little inches. Right. So we go for a much further distance so we can detect a much bigger amount. Right. That's why.
Okay.
I don't use 3 miles.
Okay. I have a perfect illustration for you. If Nathan will allow me to share my screen. This is a perfect illustration because I know that many ball earthers as well will talk about Soundly's video, and you can see the apparent curvature at this extraordinary close distance, which defies all logic, really, because if we were seeing curvature at that short distance, there'd be examples of that gathered from everywhere. Obviously, I'd be able to go down to my local beach and document the same, as would everyone earthwide. But let's just take it that this. Can you see my screen?
How many people have a P900 camera?
Well,
everyone.
4.
See what I'm saying?
No, but I mean, it doesn't have to
what
be
you just said does not logically comport, right? Because not everyone has that camera to do that with.
Right. But
so how would everyone would just have these everywhere? And by the way, it is everywhere right now. You might not be looking at it, but the P900, the holy P900, has forsaken you.
Forsaken
because it's literally, the holy P900 has literally forsaken you. So not only do you still believe in those stars videos too, Pete? What those fake stars videos are real from flat earthers?
Oh, when you zoom in on the stars,
you believe in that? The way the flat earthers are telling it to you?
No, I know what the stars are, but when I believe in that, what do you mean they're like?
Yeah, the flat earthers are putting out videos telling you that the stars don't really look like what they look like. They look like this, and they show you this out of focus image of cymatics of the star, and so tell you some elaborate story that it's cymatics and it's all this stuff and whatever. Do you believe in those?
Well, I know that they're reflected energies against
come on, you believe those
background. Yeah,
flat earth videos are telling you are the way that the stars actually look.
Well, no one is telling me anything. I can judge things myself, but fundamentally, that's what we're dealing with: light energies against reflective.
Again, so you don't think they look like little dots; that they look like these elaborate electric balls of whatever this fucking shit looks like.
Well, they are
patterns in them and stuff.
Hang on, they are of a substance, and there is motion going on. So
my point being is, do you think they look like what the flat earthers are telling us they look like?
No. because you can't get a star stationary, for one thing. You can't just say, right, let's stop the system and see what a star looks like.
The conversation so hard.
No, it's not, man.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, Pete. You know, don't you?
Okay, hang on. You're asking me
the crazy visualizations and the flat earthers telling you, look at these are the stars. This is what they really look like, and they're showing you these crazy visualizations of the stars.
No, that can't be. That's not the case either. No,
they are doing that though. On the
big capture something that's. Hang on, man.
Almost 100% of you flat earthers believe in that stuff.
Okay, well, I'm not. I'm my own person, right? So don't include me with anybody else. I don't include you with anybody else, right?
Well, let's just point it out though. So while
I'm sure what I think the stars are, then
people that were in this chat also believed that if they were flat earthers.
Ask me what I think the stars are. Don't say you on board what these people say. Tell me what they say first of all. I mean, you know, I look at a visual of someone.
Then, or are you familiar? Yes or no?
Okay. Well, do you take it that the person who has taken the people who've been taking these captures are sort of genuine? They're not fiddling with the zoom, or they're not trying to get any particular results.
All I'm trying to say, man, I don't know what you're going on about, but really, flat Earth is a gullible movement, and these flat Earth stars videos are fake bullshit where the people don't even know how to use the manual. I mean, they're using the autofocus instead of the manual focus. So they're not getting close enough to the infinity symbol to actually focus in on the actual star or planet that they're trying to focus in on. So it comes in all distorted, right? And then they tell you that's what they really look like, the distorted image.
No, I don't think
they really look like, because they don't know how to focus their cameras. Now we demonstrate that. What's his name? Fuck, I forget.
I saw that. Yeah.
He demonstrates it in a video where he points at Venus, and he shows you that that's exactly what Venus looks like under a bad focus, which is the exact imagery of what you're showing us is in the flat Earth communities as the new real Venus, right? And he uses the focus button and he shows you how to focus, and then he shows you how to.
Did he get a good view of Venus then, as NASA shows, or any of the?
Yeah, it looks like a moon because it's only partially lit up by the sun, just like the moon would be in a particular phase.
Right.
It was like a half moon.
Venus has phases, right?
Right.
All the planets. Sorry, I've got to interject just because Grimm's point, I think, is a bit. I'm not saying it's lost on you, Pete, but I just want to clarify it for the audience either way. So what Grimm is saying is that some flat earthers, and I hope he'll concede that this is not you, but some flat earthers take the P900, point it at Venus, and then don't know how to focus the camera correctly. So what you're left with is a wibbly wobbly mess moving in and out that doesn't represent what Venus looks like through a telescope. It certainly doesn't represent what I've seen Venus look like through my telescope, and I would agree with him. But I think what Pete is now saying is, does that match what NASA show us? So that's where I think you are in a proper debating point. Sorry to interject.
Right. No,
so in other words,
match what NASA shows you.
Yeah, in other words, if you went through the proper procedure, use the equipment as it says on the tin, are you getting to see what NASA shows you? You're not, are you? That's the simple fact.
Actually, yeah.
Well, okay. I believe I saw the same video you saw. And listen, don't attribute a position to me, because I have my own position. First of all, I wouldn't do you that disservice, Grimm. Can I call you something else rather than Mr. Grimm? Or is Grimm
no.
okay?
Yeah, no, Grimm is my real name, dude. I don't mind. It's my last name.
Okay, like the brothers Grimm, right? Oh, that was 2 M's. Well, that's fair enough. This has nothing to do with anything anyway. If you wanted to find out my view of what the stars are, you can ask me. And what I certainly think that the stars are energies traveling around a watery barrier. This is what we're seeing. So when these P900 captures are being made, they are seeing something in motion. And this accounts for the blur. But in order to describe what the energies are themselves and where they're emanating from, that's a different story. I happen to...
you are making an argument for them then.
Right.
I just want to clarify. So you do believe that those images the flat earthers are giving us are proper images, because they are, like you said, you're arguing for them to be these energies, and that's how they look, and right?
Well, is the star not an energy in your model? No,
not the point. Exactly that you're taking.
Why did you say anything like that as if it was something?
Because you're saying it because you think that's the way they look, right? I asked you. I didn't tell you. I'm asking. Right. Yeah. Like I asked you before, do you believe in the stars videos? I know you kind of boxed me into, don't tell me what I believe, but I was asking you, do you believe? I was
talking about the fucking curvature. That's why I have this screenshot up.
I'm talking though. It's kind of hard for me to hear you and what you're saying. So I never came in and told you what you believe. Like it was kind of thought a minute ago that even Nathan had to come in and say, well, you know, I hope he concedes that that's not what he thinks.
I didn't even mention the star.
Can I finish? Because I mentioned the stars, right? And you're defending the position of the flat earthers who showed those videos by telling me these things, right?
No, right? You attributed something to me, man. Come on.
So
change the topic, right? And you asked me, am I on board with the flat earthers who put out these videos with the P900? You said, first of all, you're out of favor with the P900.
I was trying to see if you were aware that that there was a bunch of misleading videos being put out by your own community.
Sure, man. I know that the flat Earth is infiltrated with actors.
Where's the scrutiny? It's not infiltrated. It's you doing it. It's flat Earth doing it. It's not infiltrated.
No, but that's what I asked you.
I said off as a CIA psyop.
Okay, I said, would you? Okay, hang on. I said, would you at least grant that the vast majority of the people who are taking these captures are genuine? That's what I asked you, right? So even if hang on, man, even if I took a picture of you that was blurred up, right, there's still a core, what do you call it there?
Yeah,
core thing to be represented.
The reason I can't grant that, Pete, and I'll tell you why exactly, is because these people have already been told that they are using their cameras improperly and they're not taking down their videos. They're still feeding off of your psychosis. Right? They've been shown and demonstrated how properly to use
my psychosis. Okay, fair enough.
Well, it is. It's a psychosis. It's a comfort bias. It's something you think you've. Right. It's wrong. It's okay.
Listen. These people are out there. Have you ever used?
I'm going to finish my statement one at a time, right?
Yeah. So I'm asking you, right? Have you ever used a camera?
Am I going to finish my statement, or am I going to let you ask me another question in the middle of my other answer to your other question?
I understand what you're saying, man. I'm trying to say to you, people who have taken these shots under Zoom, they've tried to get the clearest fucking capture they could, right? Even if they're mistaken in their function, they're still trying to do that.
It's wrong, bro. They've already been told
how to use you're looking at something and you're trying to get a shot of it, you're going to
what are you talking about?
Mess around with the focus until you get the clearest shot you can, right?
Can I ask a favor? Can you bring up one of these videos of maybe the Morning Star so that we've got a bit of clarity? Because at the moment, I don't think maybe Pete appreciates what you're trying to say is nonsense that people are basing their beliefs on, and it seems like you're at cross purposes in terms of maybe, because I can't establish from this conversation whether Pete does or doesn't believe in those images. So if maybe you can just bring one up quickly, that might bring an end to it.
His position fast enough. I've been asking him, so it's not as if he's doesn't know how to answer the question.
Okay, so basically,
like, do you believe that the stars are little twinkly aberrations and they're not actually stars or not?
I think that when we look at the stars, we're looking at reflections of energies emanating from the North Center.
And why do you think that?
Because of what I've come to learn and the questions I've come to ask myself regarding the whole system. Which are, well, first of all, we come to flat and stationary Earth, right?
No.
You don't?
You can't. You just make it. You're saying, so the reason you came to these assumptions is because of some other assumptions?
Okay, well, I was assuming, basically you're correct, Grim. I was assuming that what science told me was correct. So that whole model came under scrutiny. The first step on that re-education process was questioning whether I do really live on a spherical ball that is spinning at given speeds in the environment that I'm told it does. So when I go back to basics, right, and I say to myself, right, where do I start pretending I know? Sweet Fanny Adams. I'll watch my language because Eleanor is present, and I apologize I'll keep it calm. Anyway, so that's what I asked myself. On first principles, what are my impressions, right? So when I get to, I'm still, everything in my life tells me that I'm still, right? I've been on a bike, I've ran, I've walked, I've been on a plane, etc., etc. I recognize movement. Yeah, and it's still ground, stationary ground. That's what it tells me. So when I take it from there and I look for evidence that shows otherwise, it comes up sorely lacking. Then I realize, as we're looking at water here, I've never seen water to curve, to adhere to any external shape, right? So I can extend my limit. Hang on, I can extend my limited experience to a grander experience, because this is what I'm trying to picture, right? I can't see the whole Earth, so I have to see, extrapolate. That's where I get to then. I'm on a stationary plane, and it can't be a ball based on the universal behavior of water under similar temperature and pressure conditions. So at that basis, then I can start. Then I can look at them. And let me finish. Let me just say this. At that basis, I can start. Then I can look at the stars. Then I can look at whatever light show is going on in the sky and try to work out what the hell is going on.
You realize you have said, I mean, no offense, because you know I'm not trying to be rude, but you really did not answer my question.
Right. Then again, we've only spoken, I think we spoke briefly before, but not too much. So if I met you for the first time, right, and I wanted to understand where you were coming from, would certainly give you an hour or two. What do you reckon? Something like that. I get some sort of grasp then on the character and where you might be coming from. A slippery grasp at that. But yeah, after that, then you start examining what do you think that the luminaries are, these lights we're seeing. What is the backdrop? We were told about space, infinite space, done away with that. Now that our senses tell us everything is close by, right? And everything seems to be moving in some sort of form of fashion in unison. It does tell us that.
No, it doesn't. That's the whole point of this conversation.
If I look at
our senses, you keep acting like everyone sees what you see.
So if I look at the North Star, everyone can pretty much see the North Star in the Northern Hemisphere anyway. If I look at the North Star and I come out at 3-hour intervals, I will notice the Great Bear as it, the question mark, as it takes one position and appears to rotate throughout the night.
What do people in the Southern Hemisphere see then?
Right. Now, I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, right? I don't know what it's like.
What do people in the Southern Hemisphere see? Does it not exist? So the Southern Hemisphere doesn't exist if you can't see it?
No, you asked me about me, right? Then you asked me about me. I've never been to Australia.
I asked you about how does everyone see what you see? So it's kind of asking you about you and everyone else. So if you leave out the Southern Hemisphere, you left out a lot of someone else's.
No, and I'm saying to you from first principles, based on I'm talking about from first principles, right? From my own sensual data collection. And you agreed that was the case. Now you're asking me to use other people's sensual data collection. I can't see what people in Tasmania see.
Right? Specific, because you used the word we. We see this. All right. So I said we who? Everyone. Why? Okay. Now you're talking about me. I said me. But no. You said we. Okay. So before you change what you said and act like I'm misrepresenting you, let's just go back and maybe change what you said.
Yeah, but when you said who me,
because
when you said who me, were you talking about me or you?
No, I'm saying we who. When you say we, I'm saying we who.
We first, not we who.
Right, we who.
Then you said me or you after the who we. So
who's the we we're talking about when you say we?
Okay, that's funny. Okay. So you can tell me, so then if we're, okay, so after me getting beyond a certain point in my question, I realize there's a bigger Earth out there. So other people have different visual experiences. So then I get in contact with you, Grim, and ask you to tell me what you see in relation to, let's say the North Star, for instance, and the Great Bear. Does it seem to revolve around? And you would give similar experiences, right? Now, once we got beyond that, we'd have to then incorporate what people at southern times would be experiencing. And then we take that into consideration. This is the point here. I understand that's the great talking point, which is the southern celestial pole and the southern rotations. I can explain that. I mean, You haven't asked me, have you? Once you get beyond a certain point, though, this is my point about questioning. I mean, you won't accept me or my points of view from the initial premise that the Earth is flat and stationary. So you're not going to accept what I'm going to say.
They're not your points of view, right? I mean, they're points that have already been diffused that you're just coming up on, not realizing they've been diffused.
What do you mean?
That's what they are. They're not your points.
What points?
What you're talking about. The celestial poles.
Yeah, I didn't make any particular
refraction.
Said according to my observations. And if they're not my observations, whose eyes am I looking through, right?
Again, that's not even what we're talking about. You keep on trying to dissect what we're talking about to mean something completely different.
Okay, listen, this is my
strawman points out of.
I'm not making any strawman points. My point is,
look, that's a circle right there. So that's why the sky is blue.
Well, is it easier? Is it easier for me just to tell you? Would it be easier for me to tell you just what I think is going on? Wouldn't that be easier? And then you can, rather than picking apart what I have to say at every stage, then you can just hear the overall thing and maybe take it from there. How about that?
Well, yeah, fine.
Right. Okay, this is where I've come in my search. I've been a flat earther since 2013, right? We live in a flat and stationary plane. Locally is all we can speak. Within the confines of the earth. What's going on beyond that? Many different possibilities. We are surrounded by water, so to all intents and purposes, we are a bubble within water. An electromagnetic bubble, actually, Graham, and I know you're into electromagnetics. So we are an electromagnetic bubble within water, but we live in a broken system, right? And something catastrophic happened and the system collapsed. All I see, and this is where I've come now, all there is the sun, right? Now I can tell you what I think the sun is, but let's just say all I see is it is the sun and its reflected artifacts. Within this collapsed bubble, right, we have a contour. And because it's waters beyond, when you introduce light energies, you have a reflective barrier. So everything we see is a reflection of a reflected artifact of the sun itself, including the moon. I say this, the moon doesn't exist. It is a reflection of the interface of the sun off of a contoured, watery, electromagnetic, mirror-like barrier above. In terms of the celestial star rotations, if you think of the contour like the back of a spoon, right? Everything is inverted and mirrored. So depending on the observer and depending on the rotation around this contoured barrier of these light energies, you will experience different movements. So that's my, what do you call it, in a nutshell. All there is the sun and its reflected artifact. Now, what are you going to do with that?
Right, reflected off of what?
Off of this, you see, we have an electromagnetic barrier, right? We have an electromagnetic field that separates Earth plane from the
light passes through electromagnetics. Next.
Right, excellent. I mean, would you think okay, here's a question for you. Would you think it's possible
with magnetism? Next.
Okay, hang on. Let me ask you a question then. Would you think it'd be possible to create a bubble of air within water using an electromagnetic field?
Yes.
Right. So if you, for instance, shrunk yourself down and placed yourself within
surface tension of water, with an added coagulant to the water, then yes.
Right. Perfect.
But
we
don't have that. We have water. There's no. It doesn't have soap bubbles in it.
No, we do. I'll tell you how we do have that in a second. But if you shrink yourself down and put yourself in the middle of that bubble, right, that barrier that you will perceive will be a watery barrier, will it not?
And guess what? It's curved water too, isn't it?
Right. But we are not the water. We're not the barrier.
So I guess we have.
Yeah, we're not the barrier, though.
You admit that water curves.
Now, yes, did I not mention that under our experiences, under similar conditions of temperature and pressure, water has a universal behavior to it? Did I not mention that? These are not similar conditions. These are extreme conditions at the peripherals, at the boundaries. But you answered my question. There's your water barrier, and in terms of adding something to it, well, we have salt water up there.
Other than it just moves, and then there's forces. Can you explain that?
Yeah, but we have.
Can you show?
We have salt water.
That makes no sense.
Well, it makes sense, man. We have salt water. If we had a salt water barrier, right?
Show me a salt water bubble.
You ever heard of blue salt?
Show me a saltwater bubble. Big bubble out of salt water like you're talking about. Surface tension of the water does not work that way. I'm sorry.
So hang on. Are you telling me you could induce with a electromagnetic field, you could induce an ordinary bubble within ordinary water, clear water, but you couldn't do the same with salt water?
And with an electromagnetic field, you're being very arbitrary right now.
Well, you just agreed that I asked you the original question, and you said yes, you could induce a bubble within a body of water. So that was with drinking water, whatever, clear water. So you're saying that you couldn't do it.
The way I would do it is not the way you're doing it, because I have a video demonstration of it being done, and it's in microgravity, in free fall, or whatever you call it when you're in orbit around the Earth. When you're a flat earther, I don't know what you would call it, but
there's no one in orbit around the Earth, man. You can't. There's nothing in orbit around the Earth.
Again,
nothing in free fall anyway. That's a thought experiment.
Right. To say something like
that, so you're not getting the joke, man.
Even a weather balloon can orbit around the Earth, you knucklehead. So let's not go stupid on everybody. Okay.
Okay. Right.
There's been flights around the planet, dude.
Not in free fall. It's been pushed by prevailing conditions, right?
What do you think a satellite is doing?
No, that's a balloon. That's a satellite, right? It's not in free fall, though.
It is in free fall. And the idea of what a satellite is, and what they're telling you a satellite does, it's free fall. It's falling in free fall. It's going fast enough in one direction to fall towards the Earth, but never hit the Earth. So it's always falling. So let's not.
Have you ever heard of Newton's cannonball? Have you ever heard of Newton's cannonball?
Again, you're creating side conversations out of the
conversation. No, I'm not, man.
Because you're missing the point. The bubble, the water bubble with the air in it. Okay, an experiment that I'm trying to tell you I have a video of. You can see it for yourself. A spinning sphere of water in microgravity.
Sure, I've got to. Sorry, Grim. I'm really sorry to interject, but I've got to. So there is a bone of contention here, because without letting you just argue the toss, I know the bone of contention. One is that in order to see, say, a spherical water droplet, you could see that in free fall, like you would have represented to you on the ISS. They're saying that they are falling around the Earth, therefore when they have water on the ISS, it's because it's in free fall. Whereas a flat earther would contest that in your example, when you're saying about things going up and then staying up, therefore they must be in free fall because they're constantly falling. Well, the weather balloon example of something going up on an air current and just staying up wouldn't be in free fall, but would be an example of exactly that. So there's a flat earth, globe earth bone of contention here, which I'm hoping you'll just debate.
Thank you, Nathan, for clearing that up. It's kind of, see what I mean by, I don't know, some simple concepts and stuff, they get argued, but
so free falling orbit is a simple concept.
I don't know what the fuck you're arguing.
No, but I'm just saying that's a simple concept. Is that free falling? Newton's cannonball is a simple concept for us all to understand.
Right, and the point of the whole conversation is nothing to do with Newton, right? The point of the conversation is to show you that a ball of water spinning exists, right? A ball of spinning water exists, and our Earth is outside of another strong enough gravity to be pulling the water off of it. It's the strongest thing.
It might be, right? Could be. It could be, but it also mightn't be. I mean, a lump of dog shit exists, but I can't say that the Earth is a lump of dog shit.
Okay, this conversation has gone.
Just because I mentioned dog shit, I mean, is that bad? Sorry, Eleanor.
So when you're asking for like, let me show me a ball of water spinning on a, you know what I mean? Like, take a basketball and pour water on it. Well, you're inside Earth's gravity, so you're not using a control. So you're not actually demonstrating what it would be like if it were Earth. You'd have to go outside of Earth's gravity to demonstrate on an object what Earth could be doing. Otherwise, all the water is going to pour off of the object, of course, because it's being pulled down to the center of Earth, right? So when we get outside of that, you can see how the water would behave as if it were Earth itself.
You have so many suppositions in there. You're going to say the Earth is a big sphere and has a given diameter, radius,
It's not a
gravity's in effect, everything has been pulled towards the center. These are all simple concepts, right? And you're asking me to
actually, you can take a plume.
The very things I'm disputing.
Right, but you can take a plume and measure the angles between the two plumes, all right, and see that they actually converge towards the center. They will intersect.
A plume of what?
A plume bob. A ball on a string.
A plume bob. It's a plumb bob.
A plume bob.
A plume bob. Have you ever used a plumb bob?
A plumb bob. Yeah.
Why would you call a plumb bob a plume bob? You can take a plume. I was wondering what you were talking about.
The actual tomato thing than the physics.
No, it's not. I've never heard anyone call it.
That's a sign of weakness right there. Little tomato.
I've never heard anyone call it a plume, you clune.
See, there you go. Yeah, the fact that you're so familiar with the plume, Bob, you don't know what the fuck. You know exactly how to say it, but you don't know anything of the mechanics of how the motherfucker works, though.
The plumb bob, it's a fucking weight at the end of a string. Eleanor knows how a plume bob works.
Like a ball string. Yeah.
Plume Bob the Builder.
This is your flat earth argument right here, guys.
Man, listen, all you going on about all of this, all I was asking you was, is it possible to create in our thought experiment a little electromagnetic bubble within water? Right? Then I asked you to transfer that to a macro level. Then you have a reflective barrier. This is what we were talking about, an invisible reflective barrier.
I'm not clear on what you're trying to say. Can you show me a video or an experiment where this magnetic bubble and water interaction occurs?
But you agreed that it was possible.
No, I did not.
I can produce a bubble in water by blowing into a straw, right?
Me saying I'll go along with your thought experiment is not agreeing to your thought experiment.
So do you agree I can produce a bubble of water by
Don't ask me, do I agree?
In a straw.
Right.
So imagine I could sort of maintain that bubble. Obviously bubbles will come to the top, but imagine I could maintain some sort of
now straw is your magnetic field. So there's a big straw on Earth. What are you talking about now?
No, there is a source. You know all tides surge from the north, right? You know that. Or do you know that? You know that the moon, in terms of its supposed relationship with the tides, is debunked. I mean, it's hopeless. That's a dead in the water, dead duck, a dead dodo. You know that, right? Because you'd have to explain the Mediterranean Sea and how come even with its proximity to the moon as it transits, it experiences no tide. Well, this is because all tides surge from the north, and where the Mediterranean Sea meets the Atlantic Ocean, you have the Straits of Gibraltar there, which are a very narrow slit. So that allows very little movement in between that, what do you call it? A peninsula between Northern Africa and Spain. And that's why it isn't inundated. So that's a good example of why water will always find the path of least resistance. So water will never build up, at the land boundaries. It will just pass through in its own good time where it can. That's why the Mediterranean experiences no tides. But yeah, sorry, are you gone? Are you there? Because you didn't interrupt, so I assume you're gone or cut off or something.
Maybe it's a break to give a plug. So I'm going to do that now, if you don't mind, Pete, if he responds or not. So if you are new to this channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to join the panel, be sure to hit the sorry, I've been joined by Event Skeptic right in the middle of my plug. So if you would like to join the panel, as Event Skeptic has just done, click on the link in the info box and I'll periodically put it into the chat so you can join that way. I will keep this stream running for about another half an hour, so if you did want to disagree with anything that's been said or put forward your views on the shape of the Earth, click on that link in the info box below this video. So I'll pass back over to the guys in the chat and welcome Event Skeptic. Hopefully it is Ronnie and not a sock. We shall see. How you doing?
Yeah, it's me. How's everyone doing today?
Hey, man.
Very well. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Ronnie.
Hey.
How you doing?
I think you cut out.
I was inviting Grim. I'd like to have Grim come on maybe after this shuts down onto my channel. I'd like to go over some of his theories and stuff with a more open-minded approach.
I appreciate that.
I have followed it. There was a couple. Go ahead.
Sorry, Ronnie, and maybe you might be able to troll. And can I just make my way through this? It'll only take a minute, say, and you'll definitely be interested in this. But I certainly want Grim's impression of it, because this is why I brought it up in the first place. And honestly, it'll only take a minute. I'll be silent then. Is that okay? Yeah. No.
Of course, go ahead.
Okay, excellent. This is let me, Nathan, do you mind screen sharing my my
done.
screen here?
Done.
Oh, excellent. Okay. This is a snap, and I'll make this brief. This is a snapshot from Soundly's video, and this is apparent curvature. And you don't have to say anything, Graham. As I said, I'll only be a second. This is the hard horizon line that you would identify, and you indeed have identified as the horizon, and therefore it looks like curvature. Therefore, it is curvature. At this extremely short distance. Well, when you examine this picture closely, you find a few anomalies, and I'm sure
it actually does have tides, Knucklehead.
No, that's fine. That's not the issue.
They're of a very low amplitude. It is an issue because you thought it was a standing point in your conversation, as if
no.
There,
right.
He's free to make his point. Just let him make it, Grim. There's no real time restraints here. Just let him get it through his point and then address it after he's done.
This was just about identifying the horizon line. So if I'm to take your word for curvature, this is what you identify as the horizon line here, right? The hard horizon line. I've pointed this out again and again, that this is not the horizon line. Under Zoom especially, you have this mirrored water layer that's set up, and you falsely identify the horizon line each and every time. This is provable by extending this here as it starts off. And we can see if we cross a line across from here to here, we have a mirror line. So everything between this orange line and this hard parent water line is mirrored above. So what you are mixing when you are calling curvature is direct vision with reflected reality, which is understandable as well. We understand from the very earliest of ages that when you have water and light.
Wait, you're shotgunning. Let me stop you. Let me stop you from shotgunning. What you just described, what you just showed, was proof of curvature, and to follow with a little extra. Yeah, put those lines back. Because what you just showed, the mirror line is why you think the Earth is flat, because of that mirror line. You see that? That's so many different times that's been mistaken for, that's the true horizon, or that's what we really see. And that is due to the refraction, being that the medium is thicker between you, the observer, and the observed region. That's
not true. That's not true. And you can clearly see it here.
So that's what's lower than your eye, right? So that's literally what's being reflected back to you. So it's really more evidence of the sphere than you're trying to say it's the opposite. That freaks me out. I don't understand.
Hang on. So what are these? This is supposed to be water here, right? So we can see that the barriers will continue on in this fashion. What are these white pillars here then? You're saying this is a mirage I'm looking at, is that?
You're saying it. You're saying that is the reflection of the bottom. See, that's the top of the pole. See how it's curved? Now the bottom is also the top. The bottom is also the top. You see how it curves upward from the bottom? That's because of the curving downward at the top.
Yeah, this image is clearly fake. So if you take your pointer, it's CGI. If you take your pointer and follow the horizon,
stop, bro.
See that line? Draw a line for me, the left side of the image. Yes, from the water line. Draw it all straight across.
Okay, hang on. Yeah.
You notice how the right side of the image is dropped? It looks considerably quite a bit lower. Lift it up level. That's far from level. Lift it up, lift it up, lift it up, level.
I know that.
There you go. You see right there? That totally disproves this entire photograph is fake.
No, it doesn't.
No. Hang on.
It just means his camera was not sitting on a perfectly
No. Hang on, Ronnie.
His camera's sitting in the car. In the car on the seat, dude. It's not perfectly level. The camera.
Doing over fake footage.
Look, all you gotta do is turn the fucking camera. It's not fake footage. Dude.
Hang on.
Hey,
Hang
listen,
on, Ronnie.
some
Ronnie,
research
let
to
me-
find out the horizon is 3 miles for everybody visually while standing on the ground, and you cannot
At
measure
6 foot tall.
if the Earth was 25,000 miles. You cannot measure curvature from 3 miles. We knew that Math Powerland before we went crazy
That's
taught
not 3
everyone
miles.
we can only see 3 miles.
That's well beyond 3 miles.
No,
Can I just hang on?
100 magnify what is in your 3 mile range, and if the
Okay.
3 miles is where the top, that last bar where you can see the water on the bottom of the pylon, there's your 3 miles. After that,
if
and listen,
refraction is
Buzz,
reflecting
he's
and distorting
Buzz.
the image,
not listening. I
I'm
cannot
listening.
explain what you're supposed to see here if you're not going to listen.
Why
Ronnie.
is it that the moon,
What
the
you're
sun, and the stars
what you're
don't
supposed to
don't
be
have the mirrored effects when they rise up in the sky? Only on the horizon do we have
Changing the
mirrored.
subject now? You changing the subject?
It's
I'm talking
it's-
about the pylons. I'm going to make a point about the pylons. So we'll get to the stars in a minute.
and this
But the point
this-
about the pylons here is like he just showed you that mirror line, right? So you see the curvature going down that mirror line, but you're talking about that's refraction when in fact, refraction is what is making you see that mirror line. That's what's actually trying to bring the view back up. So refraction is actually working against the globers visually, not for the globers visually. So you've got your shit mixed up and your line is way crooked there, by the way.
It's not. This line isn't.
Yeah.
this whole image is fake. It's totally
No,
skewed.
no, hang on. Let me respond, right? Let me respond, please. Ronnie, you're incorrect, right? I understand why you say that, and I've already dealt with this before. But remember, if we're misjudging this aspect as being the real horizon line, the hard horizon line, then we can't do the same thing at this side. The only reason that we can see more here is because of
So
the
you're telling
contrast.
me the Earth's curve is going left to right and forward.
Right, I know.
No,
You have a different view of the Earth.
Dude, conceptually, you're not.
Opposed to
Yeah,
forward.
exactly. We've got a much longer view forward than left to right. Right.
You're
Right.
telling a lie.
Left to right, you're only
Notice
left to
there's a
right.
question.
see-
It's just a matter of whether the photograph is
You're not
fake or
gonna
not.
see
I don't
several
think it is.
inches. Can I say
I don't-
something? Fuck. You're not going to see several inches of curvature from a left to right, as you would from forward to backward. Okay.
He's
Simple
showing
reasons.
feet of drop, like miles.
Because you're
like-
looking. No, because when you're in the center of your viewing area, you can see 6 miles around in the radius around you. It all looks flat from your position because it looks that way, unless you can see objects over the horizon.
you
Okay?
can't.
You can't see over the horizon.
Yeah, we
There's
can
no
only-
reason for you to think it's anything other if you don't realize the geometry you're standing on.
Graham, what's going on here? When you look out at this image, right, or look at this setting, what's going on here that you appear to see all of these things where they shouldn't be? As again, I drew the hard
It's
line.
refraction. Okay,
here.
all right, the air is thinner. So you're up in a higher. He's not standing 6 foot off the ground in this picture. It's obvious.
Have
The
you seen
pylons
this in
are much
reality?
higher than 6 foot? Right. So we know he's above the pylons, and we know the pylons here are higher than 6 foot. So we can establish that he's way above 6 foot. He's looking over and down, right? So when he's taking this picture, you're starting in a medium that's thinner. The air, the atmosphere is
Grim,
thinner.
you prove that thinner atmosphere affects us.
Can I
The moon
finish?
does not distort. The stars do
Dude,
not distort. There
Wait,
is
no. Stop with the moon shit, dude. We're talking about the air on the
You're
very
telling me
close.
Use the
We're talking
moon!
about the very dense air that's
The
full of
dense
water
air
that's
should
very
be
close
dense
to the
right above my
surface of the water.
the sun
We're
should
talking
do a
about Ronnie,
Nothing
be
that's
respectful,
ever
Ronnie.
observed
Ronnie,
to be
Come on,
changing in-
man. You're
Nothing
just
ever.
you're just yapping.
Nothing
Stop.
has ever been observed. When
Well,
the
you're
sun-
looking at an
Right now.
observation, so
Right.
to say
When-
nothing has ever been observed is just
This is
silly.
fake.
You're
You
observing
can
it right
see
now.
You're looking at one right now.
Yeah.
It's so fake. Like right there, you're
Well,
showing
hold
me.
on a minute. Hold on a minute. You've claimed it's CGI and it's fake
Yes.
several times now.
The
So
first one I made
hold
was
on. Let me finish. Please let me finish. You've talked.
Who the fuck is that?
Let me finish. You've
Man.
claimed it's. Let me finish. You've claimed it's CGI and it's fake several times. Shut the fuck up. When,
No swearing, please.
If
Just
you
calm
don't-
down.
you
You'll get
don't
to
want-
get your point in,
Oh,
Jeremy. Just
I
don't.
thought that was Nathan for a moment. I'm
No,
like,
it's not, it's
holy-
Jeremy.
Don't mind
Just-
him, little Eleanor. Don't mind him. He's a little actor. Don't mind
It's all getting very loud. Just calm down
be
one at
bad.
a time. Let Jeremy get his point in. There's no need to get sweary, please, Jeremy.
All right, sorry, but stop. When he interrupts me for the 8th time, it does make me feel like swearing.
That's my number.
Be quiet and hear what I have to say, then I'll be quiet and you can respond. We call this a conversation.
Can you turn off the
said
camera?
it's CGI and it's fake several times, and I think you should justify that. This is footage. That's been Soundly's made multiple observations on multiple occasions, including a live recording of him making the recording and uploading it to YouTube.
Okay, but just
So-
zoom back.
so-
Draw a straight line across the
Let's
horizon.
hear how you think.
Okay, but nothing.
How you think he produced this as CGI and was able to do all of that?
I could do this. In
Explain
paint. I could skew any image. Look at those pylons; they're not straight. This is also
So
a
you
curve.
can do that live and upload it live, can you?
Listen, I don't spend my time faking.
Answer the question: can you do it live and upload it live?
Zoom out again and draw a
So
straight
the
line.
answer to the question is no, isn't
Does
it?
not match
So
one.
you've made the claim that it's fake and it's CGI several times, but you have no way of backing up that claim whatsoever.
I don't want to
You
yell.
can't defend it, but I challenge you on it. You change the subject.
Okay, let me finish my question. You can provide one more photograph where the ocean curves in a small zoomed in snapshot like you're trying to provide here as evidence.
He's done it in 3 different locations now, so that exists as well.
You see those lines that you guys are drawing? Those are impossibilities in reality.
Why are they
Not
impossible?
I'm not drawing
What
no
makes
line.
them impossible?
trick photography. Hello, if
Not
this was
even an answer.
I wouldn't. If the horizon line was great, I would be able to buy this as evidence.
You what?
The
Yeah,
horizon line is not straight.
Ronnie, are you kidding right now, Ronnie?
I'm 100% serious. If you zoom back out and you draw the green line across the image,
Just assert things to CGI, Ronnie. That's all you need to do.
Okay,
You
can
can
I?
keep the fantasy going if you just say
Okay.
CGI.
not
That's
a
all you need.
Ronnie,
It doesn't
Ronnie,
matter if you've got
could that simply
no
be
way
an
of
effect of the camera
establishing
not
how
being
the
absolutely
CGI was
100% level?
produced. Doesn't matter if
Ronnie.
there's loads of evidence to the contrary that this cannot possibly be CGI. Just assert it's CGI and that'll all be fine.
I don't agree.
That's the plan, is it?
failing away from you. Do you believe
Thank
they're
you.
going over the curve of the Earth?
Obviously.
At
Yeah,
3 miles.
obviously.
Well,
Yeah,
it isn't
8
3
inches.
miles.
At 3 miles, 8 inches.
Considerably
Nothing's-
longer than 3 miles. I don't know where
Yeah.
you've got this thing that we can only see 3 miles from. That's
from 6 foot
nonsense.
high. From 6 foot
3
high.
miles is the horizon at
the
6
horizon.
foot above sea level.
That's it.
That's right. So the boat.
Right, he isn't 6 foot above sea level. So why
He's way
say
above 6
it's
foot
only
above sea
3
level.
miles?
Right. He's way above 6 foot above sea level right now. Way
That's
above that.
photography. Hey, if the
No,
lines
it's not, dude. Okay, you're just making
how
up
many
shit
times
right
have
now.
you gone out and
Yeah.
photographed things, Grim?
Many.
I've gone out many times.
Yeah. Well, me too.
This is getting nowhere. Can I
Buddy,
deal with all the points raised here briefly, please?
No,
First
you're
of
just
all-
an actor. We don't need to hear from you.
Hang on. I
Just
brought
a
up
little
the
actor.
issue here.
We don't
Okay.
need to hear your nonsense.
I have an interesting question for Ron Burgundy in the chat. He keeps claiming that there's a 24-hour sun, and me and Jason have both at nauseum explained that there is not one evidence that's proven except for one CGI footage of the
So you
sun.
admit that it's proven, and it's not CGI.
No, there's only one video that's ever been done. It's never been verified.
Right. Anything that proves against what you're saying, you call
Oh.
CGI, but you don't.
Let me
Can you,
finish.
can you show us how it's CGI?
Okay, the sun needs to be demanded in the globe Earth theory up all day for 50 days in both the northern and southern Arctic circles. There is not one single documented
Excuse
person
me.
took a snapshot with a compass once every hour for 24 hours and has the sun above their head. And the next point I want to make is
Wait, no, you're not going to shotgun. You're going to stop right there, and that's going to
No,
get a drop.
if
you're not
the
gonna-
flat earthers are
We're not
claiming
going to miss your little
sun is-
point.
if the
Sh-
sun
hey,
is
shut up for a second.
let me-
All right?
I- my
You just
point.
made stupid claims, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to refute those
So
claims
I-
so that you can get back on the level with us.
If
right?
the flat earthers believe
Fun
the
and
sun is circling, they need to take a compass and they need to show me the sun moving from the west to the east, because that has never been observed ever. And it's the exact same thing as you guys are showing me one photograph that Soundly's trick photography here. And now you want me to believe that that's the curvature of the Earth when we've already established that you cannot measure curvature from a 3-mile perspective. It's impossible. You need to be elevated. And guess what, guys? The higher you go, the higher the horizon line that is flat and straight, always, not like this fake image. It always rises. If you run a ball, Lake Souls has excellent documentations of this. The ball at an 8 mile per square inch curving would drop drastically, and none of this has ever been recorded. That's all I wanted to say.
Dude, it does drop drastically, but from the line of sight, not the line of horizon.
Okay, I'm going to keep speaking anyway, just to finish my point, because I know if I don't, people will just talk over me. I'm going to get off the screen sharing then. Ronnie, you're incorrect here, because I already pointed out that it's because of the contrast behind here that this mirroring area or mirroring plane shows up. Everything between the green and the red line is a mirror of everything above that. The reason why you can't distinguish, nearly done, the reason why you can't distinguish that the other side, because there's no contrast behind. So you're misidentifying.
Through those poles.
You're misidentifying the horizon line on the other side.
You can't see Alaska from
horizon line is up here.
You're not looking at that, right?
Right. That's all I'm saying. You're identifying
the horizon
line, whereas it's not. It's
that line needs to be straight because it's trick photography. I just exposed this fake image. The horizon, show me one other, take a picture of any horizon in the world. You can Google search any image of a beach. Show me where the land or the water is actually considerably. Okay. You can't even come close to drawing a parallel line across that image. This is fake.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying to you. The whole thing is illusion. This is my point. It's an illusion what we're seeing here. We're mixing direct vision with reflected vision.
Both of you, can you give me a second, will you? The camera is just tilted a little bit at an angle. That's your answer. It's not perfectly level. The camera's recording at a little bit of an angle. Dude, don't be stupid right now.
No.
Are you gonna interrupt me every fucking time I talk or what, dude?
Ronnie, just let him speak and then wait till he's finished, then speak.
Well, I didn't get any time to.
Yeah. So the little fixture, little problem there, Event Skeptic. The actual camera is just a little bit tweaked to the right. It's kind of
fake. Grim, I want you to prove to me the plasma and subatomic particles.
The camera isn't level. That doesn't mean it's fake.
The camera is just not level, dude. That's all.
Experiment, Grim. How did they see the photons, Grim?
At least acknowledge your fuck up there, so we can act like it's even worth it. Conversation with
suppositions. You don't have one piece of evidence.
Acknowledge what I'm saying there.
Have you ever seen a Higgs boson, Grim? Subatomic.
Sure haven't.
Plasma field, buddy. You're the faker. I'm a skeptic. You're a joke.
Right, I've never seen a Higgs boson particle. Sorry.
I said boson. Higgs boson. Have you ever seen a subatomic? Yeah,
I know what you said. You can't even see the humor in the joke that I'm laying down for you.
To a fuzzy, blurry picture, just like zooming in on things. We live in a simulation.
Distracting from the conversation? Are you just gonna not? You're gonna not admit that the camera could be crooked. You're gonna not admit that your big fucking argument against his camera is this line you're talking about.
Parallel. The horizon line
drops for me, will you? I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna say this. Thanks. So you can't admit seriously that the line that you're complaining about that is the basic premise of your entire argument against this visual that has been presented by Soundly, that the line is crooked because the camera was not sitting on a perfect level. And do you think that a camera not sitting on a perfect level equates to it being a fakery or CGI?
Well, it's definitely an illusion or a manipulated image, just like the image that he's playing now.
Why is it definitely manipulated?
Can I ask you a question? How does not having a perfectly level camera to left or right somehow an illusion?
Okay, the perspective on horizon let's put screen share Tim.
The perpendicular perspective on the horizon that we're looking at.
Yeah, you see the road at Lake Pontchartrain, it turns there. So the fact that the road is making an apparent turn causes the illusion. Have you ever painted chalk lines on a football field?
Only if the lens was halfway underneath the horizon level. Like in the trick photography done by the table and dominoes and the camera experiment, when you take the camera and you put half of the bent lens underneath the actual table, so the top of the lens actually is what's picking up the view, then you're only getting that part of the curve. So you're not straightening out your image, and it's going to make it look like the top is curved. And that's what that table trickery is. I've seen it. I've seen the table trickery videos. They're using optical. They're using an optical effect to try and say that this optical effect is the actual normal effect.
All I'm saying is if you take a left turn and you're filming it at a distance, it will appear to be a drop because you're losing perspective on the road. The Lake
how do you explain the video where he's shows both sides of the towers and they both drop from either direction that he's on?
So, Grim, then that is the only evidence on the base of the earth of curvature from the ground. That's the only.
The only, is it? You're seeing.
Why don't you go check out Soundly's channel? 2
examples.
He shows you those videos where he starts on one side of the towers and then drives past it to the other side so that you can actually see that it's doing it on both sides. Because all of the things that you're complaining about right now, he has tediously went over to make sure that he.
Oh yeah, I know what he's done.
Yeah, he made sure that you know all of your arguments are vacuous.
Those towers are turning to the right, which is giving you the illusion that it's dropping. If you guys haven't researched that you cannot measure curvature from the ground, I don't know what to tell you guys. You're going to lose in a debate. That's all I know. It's going to be pathetic.
Oh, like I just lost in this
You're
one.
in a debate.
We're not in a debate. This is a conversation.
Get the fuck out of here. It's silly.
Those pylons are making a slight right turn. If you guys have ever built...
They don't make a slight right turn. You see very clearly on Google Earth that is not true.
It's so dumb for you to say that, bro.
You know, Ronnie, it sounds like you're clutching at straws because you said it's definitely fake. It's fake because it's fake because the horizon isn't quite level. And then Grim pointed out to you what a ridiculous argument that was. And now you're trying to find other things. Oh, well, it's the only piece. And then we say, well, these other pieces. Oh, well, it's because of this or it's because of that. It's just, this is ad hoc reasoning, and it should bother you that it's required in order for you to maintain your belief.
You know all about ad hoc reasoning, Jeremy, right? You've only been using it for years.
The other comment thing that I had to add about this is just because an object seems you're seeing less of it does not mean that it's hidden by curvature. You guys really need to understand how perspective works. When an object is coming towards you, it will appear from the top down. When an object is leaving your field of view, it will appear to disappear from the ground up.
That's just nonsense. That's on a plane. That's a nonsense. That is not what we experience ever.
Of course it is. It's true.
Just isn't true. So if you see a plane flying away from you, the bottom of it disappears first.
Yes.
That's just
every single plane.
You're just lying. There's no point responding.
Right.
That's just no one has shown me a photo of half an aeroplane that someone's taken.
If you
the bottom half of it disappeared and the rest of it's still there.
The problem with that is airplanes leave your field of view up in the air, so they don't meet the horizon. It's a
so are you saying now that this doesn't happen with aircraft? Because you just said that it does.
Tower, any tall building, if you drive away from it while filming,
this is an important
you just decided to abandon the lie.
Yeah, let's not leave that. You're right, debate flat earth.
Let's stay with the lie on the airplane that you say disappears from.
Oh no, let's use a building, a stationary building.
Let's go with that airplane for a second.
Yeah.
When that airplane is directly overhead, is it perceptually larger than when it's at the horizon?
Apparently, the plane should be all distorted.
Yes, no.
Right? With all the atmosphere.
Does the plane look larger to you, the observer, while it's directly overhead than it does when it's at the horizon?
Curvature from the ground. That's what I find is so funny.
Yes or no? It's a simple question. It's all you gotta do is say yes or no. All right, nothing else. Does the plane perceptually look smaller to you when it's at the horizon than it does when it's? Can I have my?
It's called flat earth perspective, and I literally show.
This is why you can't have a conversation, because once you start trying to build up rational blocks, they knock them down.
You're using a plane analogy. What I'm trying to explain is
no, I'm trying to make a point. You're not trying to fucking hear me, right? My point is, right? Do you see the sun shrinking as it moves so-called away from you to that so-called vanishing point you're calling? No, you don't. But do you see a plane do it? Yes, you do. A plane shrinks because it actually is moving away from you. The sun doesn't because it actually isn't moving away from you. You're just spinning. Derp.
Nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. You haven't even defined what the sun is, man.
You're in the same atmosphere.
100 million miles away in space. That little wispy cloud here.
Oh, now the flat earthers believe that the sun is 100 million miles away in space. I didn't know that.
Electric dodo.
I thought you thought it was 3,000 miles away.
I'll show you guys.
The sun is a reflection. It's the barrier distance and the contour of the barrier you need to worry about.
Here you go. Can I explain? I got a graphic.
I wonder why we say it's ad hocery.
I got some CGI to show you guys. Have a look. Okay. At my being presented?
No.
Yeah.
I am. So
I can see your screen, Monty.
A person who is standing at position 1 on the pylon would have the largest field of view, right? So if you're at number 1 here on the right side, you can then see number 1 here on the top. But you can't
the top of the pyramid, right?
You can't see 2, 3, and 4 because your field of view hasn't intersected the field of view from these objects. The higher an object is, the larger its field of view. Okay, let me just get this. This is really basic. Okay?
So from position 1, I can't see what position 2, 3, and 4 sees?
From the ground, looking back towards the pylon, if you are outside position 3...
Yes, that is all indicative of how it works on the globe. We understand that.
No, this works on a flat plane. Open your mind
only
here.
And it works on a globe and only for so long. Because you know why?
Demonstrated on a flat plane.
It doesn't matter how high up you go.
Right, I'm going to do a quick plug while they're arguing about it not working on a flat Earth and not working on a globe Earth and not working on a flat Earth, etc., etc. So, if you are new to this channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you are new to Nathan Oakley, be sure to hit the link in the info box to my main channel and subscribe there to hear my views on the Flat Earth and to get more on Flat Earth interviews and vlogs and all things great on Flat Earth. If you would like to join the live show, you may not do it on this one because we're going to round out in about 5 minutes time, but there is also a link in the info box below this video and subsequent Flat Earth debate videos that will come in the future. I will transition across to them in a moment so you can hear a bit of the end of the debate, then I will round out and thank them for being here, along with thanking all of the live audience for joining us live. So I'll transition back to the debate and you can pick up from where we left off.
You can see farther than 3 miles, you lying shill.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
If I couldn't see,
can see farther than 3 miles, you lying
you have
shill.
been educated,
if I
edified.
can only see 3 miles, then why do I see the mast of the ship?
Stop denying the truth.
Why do I see the
Skeptic.
mast of the ship?
How does Jennifer Fredo film Toronto from 40
Mast of the
miles
ship.
away if you can only see 3 miles, you idiot?
No shit.
You lying
Obviously,
shill.
the mast of the ship is further than 3 miles away. Why do I see that then?
He did a runner.
Because he's retarded.
That is the killer right there. I still see the mast, dude. You're telling me that my vanishing point is at 3 miles, but I still see past the 3 miles, obviously, because the top of the ship is still there. The bottom is on the other side of the horizon because it's a hump.
Right, guys, while you start on
You're
the
a
hominin
dildo
attacks,
up
I'm
his
actually
ass.
gonna round out this show probably in the next few minutes. So if you've got some killer points to get in, now's the time to get them. I'm also going to do another quick plug. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to keep up to date.
Yeah, Jason and Ronnie are lying cocksuckers. There's my point.
Yeah,
got about 5 minutes, maybe, guys.
I should have let him, because let's talk about the moon. Like, if it were on the flat Earth map, right, where it's said to be on the flat Earth map within the dome, right? Because we have limitations. The dome can only be so high, therefore anything inside of the dome can only be so high, right? So it doesn't matter if they say it out loud. It matters if it's implied. So it's implied that the sun and moon are local. Well, if that were true, then we'd be able to see different moon phases on the same day from different locations.
Reflections. They're all reflections. The moon doesn't exist. It's a reflection
Even
of the
if
face of the sun.
yeah,
and
even if you could
reflection.
even if you
Contour,
could,
watery barrier.
even if you could bounce radio waves off of a moon that doesn't exist, right?
Have you done that?
Yeah, we actually, how many times have we said that? Yeah, since high school.
Have you done
About
that?
25 years ago,
Have you
almost
done
30 years
that?
ago, we did that.
You
Yeah,
can
my
bounce
grandfather's a
off-
ham radio operator. He used to play
Right.
with that stuff when I was a kid. Knocked on the moon,
Right.
sent
Not
signals to his friend in Russia.
Right. Okay. Well, it's a shame we don't have more time to talk about that and delve into it a little bit deeper.
Well,
Hey, Pete,
it eliminates
Pete, make
the
a second
idea
for
that
this.
you're trying to produce for me about the moon being fake or not there.
It's
Because
not
I know
fake. It's a reflection. It's a reflection.
A reflection of what?
Whatever.
You have to
Hey, Pete.
explain to me.
Thank you for calling. Thanks support. You're talking to Bob. How may I help you today?
Hello. How are you doing? I have a problem
good.
with the Bollerter application.
Hey, Pete,
So,
real quick.
Have you ever seen
On
a mirror?
your on the Lake Pontchartrain.
I want to talk about reflections for a second. Have you ever looked into a mirror?
This mirror reflection layer and everything. Why don't
Right.
you address the top of the towers, far away from that, outside of anything to do with that?
I've addressed the
Why,
curve.
why does it curve like that? Why does it curve?
Okay, I've already addressed it because in the near ground, right, you have far fewer pylons than in the far ground, right? They
Why does it
compress
curve?
more
Why does it curve down and not follow a line of perspective?
because it's perspective, man. This is how perspective works. You
No,
clown.
it doesn't.
What,
No,
the word perspective.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not perspective.
On
What
ground
you're
level,
claiming
actually.
is not perspective. You are claiming not perspective. You're claiming magic. You're claiming
But
illusion.
you're claiming magic. Look at the curvature at 3 miles.
There's nothing magic about the curvature of the frickin' Earth.
Why can't everyone capture this?
Get a
thing?
doctor,
can.
Pete. Get a doctor.
They can.
Listen to
It's
you.
like
fucking
saying, why
idiot.
can't everyone read? Well, because some people just haven't learned how to read yet.
Get a doctor, Pete. Get a doctor.
Get
So
a
why
doctor.
can't
Pete.
everyone do this? Well, because obviously.
Right.
Even if you're just acting, you're on TV.
Right, so it has clearly descended into nothing but ad hominem attack. So this is definitely my opportunity to properly round out the show and say a massive thank you to everybody who joined us in the live audience. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. And I've been Nathan Oakley. I'll see you all in the next video.
Valid extension.